happy Saturday from the Happy Valley, Amherst, Massachusetts, on the campus of UMass. Biggest crowd of the season coming our way today from McGurk Alumni Stadium. The Minutemen hoping it will bring them some luck against the Buffalo Bulls. Victor Snow, one of the fastest men in college football. His quarterback, Taquan Roberson, with 8 touchdown passes. It's Buffalo, it's UMass, it's next. You're watching the MAC on ESPN. UMass goes for win number 1 today from Amherst, Massachusetts, against one of the early leaders in the conference, the Buffalo Bulls. Western Buffalo, Miami, the top of the MAC crop so far. The one thing to know as you look at this is the last 4 teams to go to the MAC championship game all lost exactly 1 conference game. That's what we have in mind today. Cooper Boardman, Forrest Connolly, glad you're with us. And that's the reality of this conference. You lose once, you got a chance. You lose twice, you almost have no chance.
Well, the MAC can be described in 3 words. Expect the unexpected. And that is what this conference is about. You never know who's going to be there in the end.
Older teams are usually there in the end. Buffalo's got that. A 7th-year quarterback, a linebacker who's an All-American and a graduate student. And then you turn on the tape on this guy, and you start to believe.
Well, he is Mr. Everything for this ball club, a triple threat. He takes a licking and keep on ticking. He's able to get up and high point footballs. He can adjust his body and catch and make the tough catches. And then, if we're even, I'm leaving. He's showing you the speed when he gets to the outside. He is a dynamic threat for this ball club.
Had the game-winning touchdown for Buffalo to get to 2-0 in the MAC against Eastern Michigan 2 weeks ago. On the other side, for UMass, the last time we saw the Minutemen, their head coach was apologizing to the fan base after a 35-point loss at Kent State. They're looking for guys with heart and grit. That's why A.J. Harrison is their quarterback.
Well, you look at this young fella. He has gotten better with each start. He is progressively learning this offense. He is the guy that they depend on. He has to continue to do well. He has to continue to be a leader. He has to continue to understand where to go with the football.
61 degrees on a Saturday in Amherst. We are underway between the Minutemen and the Buffalo Bulls. The returner is Patrick Clax for Buffalo. And he takes it out across the 30 for that outstanding Buffalo special teams unit. Taquan Roberson, 7th-year quarterback, leading Buffalo. An ankle injury slowed him down a couple of weeks ago. He's had 2 weeks to kind of rest up, and they feel like these numbers can get even better.
And that's one of the things they're looking for from him is they want to get that completion percentage up. 58% over the whole season, 50% last time he was out. They think they've got a healthy quarterback now. He's had some time to rest. So let's see what he can do early against this defense that struggled a little bit against quarterbacks.
L.J. Henderson, the running back. First throw of the day. That's Victor Snow's music. And he is bottled up by Ryan Barnes, part of a secondary that's a little healthier. Forrest, what are you focusing on with the Buffalo Bulls?
Well, you've got to use L.J. Henderson to wear down the UMass front 7. Use motion to isolate Snow and McMillan on safeties. Buffalo's edge rushers must collapse the pocket and force quick decisions, and the tight end leak routes to counter UMass's soft red zone.
Another quick throw. There's that isolation you're talking about. Henderson to the outside. And L.J. Henderson picks up 5. Kendall Bournes took him out of bounds. L.J. Henderson averaging 7 yards per carry. They're going to put him in a lot of different situations to get 5 the ball.
And what you want to do is that's an extension of the run when you get him those pass routes in the flat. You want to get him in open space. He's a dangerous threat on the outside. One of the things the coaching staff talked about as well is they want to get him past the second level. He's had 8 and 9 yard runs, but they haven't had those big explosive runs that they want to see from LJ.
3rd and 6. Throw down the middle. That's a catch, and that's a first down. Evan King, the senior tight end, made a few grabs a couple of weeks ago in the win over Eastern Michigan. And Taquan Roberson moves the sticks.
And that's one of the things Buffalo hasn't done a lot is use the tight end. And I think that can be effective for them in this ball game as well.
Off tempo, get it out quick. Quick catch. And Josiah Gaithings wrestled down. He's got a first down. Ryan Barnes again in coverage.
And something to look for as well from Buffalo. You'll see tempo. They want to try and tire out this UMass defense, and also with all of the attention that will go to Snow, there will be other opportunities for the other receivers.
This is a deep and talented and close wide receiver group. Roberson throwing again to the outside. Another catch. Those comeback routes have been the play early on. Nick McMillan there.
Now, if I'm UMass, I'm thinking about jumping some of these routes. You see, they're going with the quick pass game, the tempo game right now. So I expect the UMass defense to make some adjustments, maybe start eyeballing the quarterback, and if they see him eyeballing his receivers, jump some of these routes.
Another quick throw, McMillan on the screen game, and he is tackled. Malcolm Green kept him away from the first down marker, brings up the second, third down of the drive.
And if you're UMass, this is what you want to be in third down. Now you've got to be able to pressure the quarterback. Show him a different defensive package pre-snap than he'll see post-snap. Try to confuse Roberson. We know he's an older quarterback. He's probably seen it all, but you still want to play head games with him.
Showing pressure. Plenty of time on the play clock. Seventh-year quarterback Taquan Roberson. L.J. Henderson, the senior running back. It's Henderson on the call. He is dragged down. Pressure came from all spots. The tackle by David Anaha. And they slow him on third.
And a great job by Anaha dissecting and diagnosing where the football is and getting the running back down. That is what you ask of your defensive end. If you're going to lose contain coming downhill, make sure you make the correct diagnosis that the ball has been handed off, and you've got to make that tackle. Don't allow him to bounce it to the outside. Keep
the offense on the field. Roberson's been a threat with his legs when healthy on these fourth downs. Fourth down and 3 early. Henderson again pushing. He is stacked up, and UMass gets a stop.
And that is a great job by the UMass defensive line. The front four got pushed at the point of attack, and that is exactly what you're looking for from your defense. Do not allow those offensive linemen to get pushed at the point of attack. A great job by Tim Grant, Randall number 11. You see him pushing backwards, knocking those offensive linemen back, and they get the big stop on the first drive for the UMass defense.
On Band Day in Amherst, we welcome you back. Band just got to play some joy after the UMass defense comes up with a 4th down stop, gets their quarterback and the UMass offense out there. A.J. Hairston, named the true starter a couple of weeks ago, threw it a ton last week when they got down big, but they believe in the heart of number 8 for an 0-6 football team. 50% on the year. His running back is Brandon Hood, the redshirt freshman, Colorado transfer. You'll see this a lot from UMass, late shifts. First offensive play of the day after the stop, and it's Brandon Hood running hard to the outside, trying to get the edge. And he got 8 yards, tracked in by Kobe Blackwell. What are you looking at for UMass?
Well, for UMass, there are a couple of things that I want to see from them. I want to see them, first of all, they've got to protect the football. They've got to shorten the game. They've got to disguise coverage, and they've got to win 3rd down.
Running the football again, Brandon Hood. Stacked up near the line to gain. For so much of the year, UMass's offense in yards per game is last in the FBS. It's been because, in part, their 3rd downs have been long. They've not been in his spot a lot. When they have, they've been a good offensive group. Half a yard to get. Hood in the single back. Hairston, QB power. And we're, I don't know, 5 minutes in. We got our first tush push of the day.
And I like what I see so far from UMass. They're taking their time. They're not rushing. Too often when you've got 3rd and short, you know, people start to rush and try to get a play in and try and run quickly before the defense is able to set. I like the fact that they set their offense and got everywhere where they wanted them to be to get that 1st down.
Jawan Price checks in at running back for the first time. UMass is without their top back, Rocco Griffin, in all likelihood. He's questionable today for the 3rd straight week. Play fake, get it out fast. McConaughey could not make the catch. Closing speed of the top Buffalo corner, Marquise Cooper. Give you the look at Forrest's keys to the game for UMass. When you look at it offensively, what do you think of this group in general?
Well, I think they're right there. They've made some really good plays, but then they'll have a bonehead play to kind of take it away. You have success, and then they have that one thing that goes wrong, and they talk about it all the time. You can work years and years to perfect something and then have one bad day and ruin it all. And that's kind of what's happened with their offense. They've had really good plays, really good drives, and then they've had that one play to take away.
Nothing for Brandon Hood there. And they got to protect the football.
Well, definitely. You got to, Hairston has to avoid early turnovers, the quick pass game, the hitches, the slants. You know, use clock drive, control drives. You know, burn that clock. Take your time. Win special teams. Show cover 2 in defense on a pre-snap and rotate to cover 3 or quarters to confuse the quarterback Roberson on the other side. And Buffalo only converts just 38% on 3rd down. Force 3rd and medium. Make them convert those 3rd downs.
On 3rd and 10 here, Hairston had no answers. Gets 5 yards out at the 50-yard line. Devin Morgan tracked him down.
And although they did not convert, I like the fact that you allowed your quarterback Hairston to get outside of the pocket and try to buy more time. You see he's trying to look down the field. I like that from the young quarterback as well. And I also like the decision that he did not try and force something that was not there. Often you teach young quarterbacks to understand if it's not there how it's drawn up, just throw it away or get as many yards as possible and get out of bounds. We'll have another day to live. Don't give up an easy turnover.
Buffalo leads the nation in block punts. They didn't really come after that one. And Victor Snow fair catches inside his own 10-yard line. Nearly halfway down in the opening quarter. Each team's had a chance, no score yet. No score, just underway between the Massachusetts Minutemen and Buffalo Bulls on a Saturday from Amherst. And Forrest, being a Buffalo fan last 4 or 5 weeks, I mean, I guess it's been fun sometimes and also not fun at other points. They've had 4 games decided by a combined 11 points.
Well, I'm a little bit older than you, Cooper. Do you remember Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock? They had a song called Joy and Pain. And that's what it has been for the fan base for this Buffalo ball club. There's been joy and there has been pain in these 4 ball games. You either win a close one or you lose a close one in the last minutes of the ball game.
I'm actually not sure a reference has ever flown further over somebody's head than that one. Handoff here, L.J. Henderson, and running with some fire for a pickup of 7 yards. I mean, it's 11 total points over the last 4 games. They're 2-2 in those games. The good part of it is they've won the 2 most important games because they've been MAC victories.
Absolutely, and that's all that matters at this point is winning your conference games, and that's why this game is so important for this Buffalo ball club.
Second down and short, another handoff. Henderson weaving. Yeah, lassoed from behind, but not before he gets the first down. The tackle from Zeron Daniel.
And once again, we see Henderson able to get to that second level of the defense. But Coach Lambert talked again. He wants to see him be able to get past that level. They want to see more chunk plays from the running game. That is how you set up the pass game. If you're able to get that run game going, now you make UMass put more players in the box to slow that down. And you get man coverage on the outside.
First throw of the drive, Taquan Roberson, and again complete. Got his man on the outside, McMillan dashing ahead. A pickup of 20, a Buffalo first down, and Roberson has started 7 for 7.
And a great job by the offensive line. Roberson had all day to look down the field and find the open receiver. And you see McMillan able to find a hole in the coverage and give himself an opportunity to get up the field with the football.
Guy was hurt last year, ACL tear slowed him down. Back healthy. Roberson looked deep, twirls out of there. Eyes still up, he throws across his body, hits his man on the sideline. Got his tight end, Marcus Velez, his second catch of the season is a gain of 25.
And I thought the left tackle got away with the hold on that play. If you look, he's got a defensive end getting around the edge, but a great job by his tight end, Velez. And we talked about the tight ends. That's the second time they've gone to the tight ends in this ball game. A weapon that I think they have not used enough. They're using those guys in this ball game.
Roberson over 1,000 yards on the year. He zips another one in. He's got a first down again. Nick McMillan. Back to the tight end catch here.
And a good job by Velez adjusting his body, making sure he puts the ball close to his body. He's able to get his foot down and toe down before he falls out of bounds. A great job by the tight end adjusting at 6'5", 250 pounds.
Play fake, get it out fast again on the out route. Snow slips a man, stays in bounds, down the outside, and he's finally twirled at the 5-yard line. Ryan Barnes saved a touchdown. This is Buffalo at its best.
And you see the arm strength by Roberson to throw from the opposite hash. Watch the feet on this play. And this is why Victor Snow is such a threat. He's able to get down the field. He's able to tiptoe on the sideline. You see the balance. So he's not the biggest guy in the world. They got him listed at 168. I would beg to differ to say he's 150. But this kid is dynamic with the football in his hands.
Timeout, UMass. Minutemen were late running a guy out of the field there. Joe Harris-Simiak had to burn a timeout. Probably not the way Joe Harris-Simiak wanted to be introduced today, with fire coming out of him on the sideline. We'll show you the Buffalo head coach first to maybe give Joe a breath. Pete Lembo, in year number 2, has won 6 consecutive games in the MAC, dating back to last November. They are, it feels like a very quiet Goliath in this conference right now, the way that they've played, 12-8 over 2 seasons here. They're as good as anybody in this league right now.
Well, you look at their schedule. I mean, the Minnesota game, it was close going into the 4th quarter. That's a game they were in the whole time. The Troy game and the UConn game, we talked about it. They lost those games in the last minutes of the ball game. So they're right there. They could be easily 5-1 or 6-0 coming into this football game.
They have moved the ball, capital M, on this second drive of the day. Roberson keeps, gets to the outside, trying to fight. He stays upright. And then Timmy Heinz-Peter closed him down.
And that was a great job on the outside by Zeron Daniel. See what they did? They spread out that defense. They tried to give Roberson an opportunity to get around the edge, but Daniel did a good job of getting hands on Roberson and allowing pursuit to get there to get him down.
First trip to the red zone for Buffalo on their second drive. McMillan in motion. Moved the whole line that way. Roberson had to float it into no man's land. Third down and goal now.
And what they wanted to do, Roberson wanted to go to McMillan. You saw him come in motion and come back across, but the defense did a good job of getting hands on him off the line of scrimmage. That's something the coaching staff talked about as well yesterday. They said, hey, we've got to get hands on those guys in man coverage. We can't give up a free release because of their athletic ability to get open, so we've got to get hands on them. A good job by the defense, getting hands on McMillan, not giving up a free release.
Forced the first incompletion of the day from Taquan Roberson. Third and goal. A pass. Roberson in the pocket, steps up. It is knocked up and down. Tyler Martin almost had an interception. He'll settle for the breakup.
And you see what UMass is doing. They're only rushing 4. They're dropping 7 back into coverage. So they're playing kind of a man zone coverage. They're playing man underneath zone on the back end. So they've got more defenders than receivers out. And they're going to give Robertson all the time he wants to try and throw the football. They hope to get pressure with those 4, but they feel like they've got everything covered up. A good job by that defense.
Jack Howes on for a 23-yarder. And he makes it 3-0 Buffalo after his first career 50-yarder brought them overtime 2 weeks ago. UMass stands them up, 3-0 ball game here in the opening quarter. UMass defense got a stop on Buffalo's opening drive. Buffalo got the football back. They kick a 23-yard field goal That's a job well done for that unit right there.
That's all you can ask for from your defense. You know, bend but don't break. And I love the coverage that they showed on that last play. Like I said, man underneath, zone on the back end, keep eyes on the quarterback. When they see the ball come out of his hands from that back end, break on it and try and make a play.
Jack Howes is the kicker. Kezion Dia-Johnson is returning for UMass. First return of the season does not come on a fair catch for Dia-Johnson. There's Joe Harris-Simiak. Last time this fan base saw him, he was apologizing for their effort against Kent State. His point has been, in his stops, it's taken time. First as a coordinator and an assistant at Maine, on the way to head coach, FCS Coach of the Year there, building a program. Then in the Big Ten, where he became one of the best defensive minds in the country there, and then Rutgers. Beard got a little longer at Rutgers. No reason why, given. It's long again here at UMass, and they believe, yeah, it's 0-6. Yeah, it's 0-2 in the MAC. That so far, they have the right things in place. Hairston in the screen game got it away. That's his tight end in the screen game, and Reese Atkins has 5 yards. You know this, having been in football programs. This does not happen immediately.
Well, you look at the programs that he's been at, and I think the familiarity with this area, with recruiting, that will allow him to build this UMass program. So you have to give him time. I like the fact that he's got a young quarterback that he can develop. A good-looking young quarterback, 6'3", 215 pounds. This kid can add on 15 to 20 pounds of muscle. I mean, and he's doing a good job so far early in his career for this UMass program. They've got some bits and pieces that they need to put in place. They're going to have to rebuild and reshape a senior-led offensive line, which I think will help, because when you get young guys in together, they can gel and build a cohesive unit. So you just got to give him time to build. They want to get that first win. I think that is the big key for this ball club. Just, you know, getting that first win and experiencing what it feels like to earn that first win.
3rd down and 5 here. A.J. Hairston out fast to the outside, incomplete. Jake McConaughey, the intended target, and Marquise Cooper breaks up another.
And he had what he wanted right there, man coverage on the outside. You've got McConaughey at 6'5". You just got to squeeze that football. He has a height advantage on the outside of about 6 inches. You just got to squeeze that football, high point it and squeeze the football. You got to help your quarterback.
Keegan Andrews, the Australian punter, flag down. It was blocked, but that will not be Buffalo's 5th block punt of the season.
False start. Kicking team, number 29. 5-yard penalty. 4th down. Game clock operator. Please reset the game clock to 3 minutes and 31 seconds. 3-3-1.
Referee Marcel Kerr, umpires Leonard Longhorn. Victor Snow set back to return for a Buffalo unit that's blocked 4 punts this season. Got one a couple of weeks ago against Eastern Michigan to lead the nation.
And that's what makes special teams so difficult. You've got to worry about protecting your punter, but then you've also got Victor Snow back there receiving the punt. So you got to worry about the returner once you're able to get the ball out.
Got it away. It's a short punt way up there. Snow calls poison. And it bounces down towards the 31-yard line. Punt of 44 yards for Keegan Andrews. And Buffalo's offense that has moved the football but not yet cinched the deal back out there.
And UMass has done a pretty good job of keeping Snow in check. They've not allowed him to really get going. One of the things I want to continue to see from this defense is to change up. Show Roberson something pre-snap, and then post-snap shift into something else. You want to play mind games. You want to play chess while they're playing checkers. You want to make him think. You want to affect the quarterback mentally.
Roberson is 10 for 12 for 101 yards. They've had the ball 2 times. Along with Lamar Sperling, fake it to him, throw it down the middle. That's punched up. Incomplete. Zeron Daniel was in interception vicinity.
And there's an effect right there. Show Roberson something pre-snap, then shift it to something post-snap. You see right there the linebacker underneath paying attention. Hinspetter. He's able to get his hands up and punch that ball up. Roberson is lucky that they didn't have anyone a little bit deeper, maybe 2 or 3 more yards deeper to safety, if that would have been an interception.
Former Rutgers walk-on, 3rd leading tackler in the MAC, Timmy Heinz-Peter. 2nd and 10. Sperling does get the ball this time. This time Heinz-Peter's on his back. No gain. 3rd and long.
Now this is where Massachusetts wants to be. They want to get in 3rd and long. Now you can release your pass rushers, your edge rushers. This is when you bring down number 19. You bring him down to the line of scrimmage, Rashad Henry. Put him in a wide 5. Challenge those offensive tackles. A lot of times tackles get nervous when you've got a wide 5 technique, a wide pass rusher. I think that's what I want to see from them now.
Tyler Martin walks up on the bottom of that line. Darion Craig the same up top. They show pressure, drop out of it. Taquan Roberson steps up, down he goes, he threw it to nothing. Shymel Davis got there, UMass gets there.
And that's that wide pass rush that I talked about. That is what you want to do, challenge those tackles. You see him get to the outside, and the tackle gives up his inside. When you allow a defender to get inside hands, they can control the body, and he was able to control the body right there, Marquise White. And with that control, he's able to push the offensive tackle into the quarterback's pocket, allowing him to make that tackle.
Sends out Dylan Drennan. He was the National Punter of the Week 2 weeks ago with a 76-yard punt. Big leg. This is a low kick. Kenyon Massey will watch the bounce inside the 10-yard line. And that is what Dylan Drennan does for Buffalo. All right, we came in talking about Buffalo. Everyone talking about Buffalo. A team that's dreaming of a MAC championship, and for good reason. We didn't talk a lot, and people haven't been about 0-6 UMass. They've gotten a couple of stops now, 3 of them to keep Buffalo out of the end zone, and now they got to find a way for their redshirt freshman QB to get him moving.
You got to get something going. You've got to challenge your offensive line. You've got a senior-led offensive line, 2 graduates, 2 fifth-year seniors, and the junior on that offensive line. These guys have got to get some movement at the point of attack. You've got to be able to establish a run, help your young quarterback, but also receivers on the outside. McConaughey had an opportunity the last drive to squeeze the football and help his quarterback. But you can't have mental mistakes like this to start a drive inside your own 10-yard line.
Illegal substitution. Offense. Breaking the huddle with 12 players. Half the distance to the goal line. 1st down.
This is a mental error, and we talked about that. You'll have a great play, but then you'll have a mental error. Coming out of a possession, you cannot have 12 players on the field. You should know who the 11 are that are going to be on the football field. So that, again, is some of the things that we've seen from this UMass ball club throughout this early part of the season.
Donnie Gray was in the huddle. He tried to tiptoe off the sideline, and they noticed. 1st and 15. Buffalo showing pressure against A.J. Hairston. Handoff, Brandon Hood gets downhill. And that'll get him back the penalty yardage they lost. Red Murdoch has his first tackle, won't be the last.
And some of the things that a young quarterback doesn't recognize, if you look at the top of the screen, you had Dallas Elliott out there with man coverage. You had the safety shading to the opposite side of the field. That's when you check to that and try and go for the big play. And he'll start to recognize and get recognition to do those things as he continues to grow in this offense.
String out Hood, he jumped 1. Fighting for every last inch before Murdoch made his 2nd tackle in as many plays, but it's 3rd down and manageable.
And you better be careful around Mr. Red Murdoch, because you know he's going to punch and rip and try and get that football out from the ball carrier. Ball carriers, you got to carry it high and tight when you see number 2 from the blue coming around.
By the way, saw Hood come off there right towards our camera. He's in some pain on the sideline. They're already down 1 running back today. For the moment, 3rd down and 4. It's a handoff up the middle. And again, nothing there. Red Murdoch, 3rd straight tackle, that time on Jawan Price. And UMass has to punt. What do you think about the call there on 3rd and 4?
I don't like it. I think this is an opportunity where you use your big tight ends. You got 6'6" Max Dowling. You've got 6'6" Reese Atkins. You got 6'4" Owen Anderson. You've got the advantage with your tight ends on the outside. You know, sneak your tight ends out. Sprint your quarterback out. Allow him to have more time to try and get the ball down the field. I just don't like the play call.
Andrews another punt towards Victor Snow. And another fair catch. Short punt inside 45 yards.
And one of the concerns you have to have when you look at this play call is how long are you going to be able to hold this Buffalo offense down? How much can you ask of your defense? I mean, so far, so good. They've done an excellent job with containing, bending, but not breaking. We know that Roberson has had a lot of completions, but they've kept him out of the end zone. They've done a really good job, but how long can you expect them to continue to do this well without putting points on the board?
10-play, 85-yard drive in 4 minutes. Last drive for Buffalo. They've outgained UMass. You just saw it there, 120-29. Another throw, Roberson. You go man coverage, Victor Snow, he'll do that. 12 yards, finally stacked up, and another Buffalo first down.
And you cannot go man coverage because there's nobody that can cover Victor Snow one-on-one from this UMass defense. I think you have to shade the safety over the top and play underneath safe against Victor Snow, or go back to that man underneath zone on the back end.
Buffalo didn't get that play off before the quarter ends. Taquan Roberson went 11 for 15 in his first quarter. They ran for 19 more, but at the end of 15, it's just a 3-0 ball game here in Amherst. 3-0 Buffalo on a Saturday from one of the most beautiful places for it to be fall in the United States, here in Western Massachusetts. You know, Buffalo knew they were going to have to win one-on-ones today. Nick McMillan included on the outside with these wide receivers, and it felt like that was not just a challenge, but an invitation to these guys.
Well, one of the things Coach Lambert talked about is wanting to get McMillan in one-on-one situations because they felt like that was an advantage that they had.
Well, numbers have backed it up. Rare handoff, L.J. Henderson, and the reality is when they've run the ball, it's looked like that. When they've thrown the ball, Taquan Roberson is 11 for 15 for 114 yards. And guys like McMillan and the rest of this quick passing game, you look around the MAC, there's probably not another team that has what they have at this position.
But they've got to utilize it, and they've got to make it work for them. And, you know, you've got receivers that can catch the football and create separation on the outside. But the thing is, you're going to eventually face a team that can cover that up. And you're going to have to be able to run the football. And that is something that I think they have to continue to work on, developing that run game.
Quick pass game again, Victor Snow on the out route.
But the old school saying, if it ain't broke, don't try and fix it. And right now, it's not broken. I mean, Roberson is continuing to get the ball down the field, but I think they have to continue to try to play mind games. Show him something pre-snap, do something post-snap differently, shift into something different. But you've got to make a play if you're doing that.
3rd down and 3. That's Victor Snow in motion. They snap it straight to Henderson. He runs to the left side, and he's short. UMass was ready.
And there's an old school saying that OGs talk about called tipping. And he was tipping on that play. LJ, you've got to take it and hit it downhill. Look at him, tip, 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 tip. No, you got to go. You got to go. You can't wait for it. There's an opportunity to bounce it to the outside. There's no movement in the middle of that offensive line. You've got to go downhill and go and get it. You can't tip, 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 tip on that play.
Tim Passmore saw the tip. He made the tackle. Buffalo thought about going for it with Taquan Roberson. He was standing out there for a little while. Now the punt team's on.
Well, you've definitely got to flip the field right now. Defensively, your defense is doing a good job of stopping this UMass offense, so you want to flip the field.
Kenyon Massey lets it bounce. And for the second time, Buffalo downs it inside the 15-yard line. UMass has gone 3 and out 3 times. We'll find out if it changes when we come back. No points yet for UMass in a 3-0 game. You and I are kind of spinning the wheel of trying to find them some offense. And to you, as you watch tape, you thought the tight ends, guys like Max Dowling and Reese Atkins, could be one of the answers.
Well, when you look at UMass, they play a lot of 11 and 12 personnel. So that's one tight end, two tight ends. They try and get those guys in to have max protection, to get good blocking on the edges. But these are matchup issues for any ball club at 6'6", 250 to 240 pounds. Combined, the last time these guys played, they had 3 catches for 74 yards. So they're very capable, but you've got to use your weapons. Once again, find ways to help your young quarterback.
A.J. Hairston to throw. Quick look to the left. Here's the pressure. He flushes out to the right. He's going to tuck, and he's going to slide down.
And a good job by Hairston getting to the outside, keeping his eyes down the field. I like what I see from the young quarterback, continuing to try to find somewhere to go with the football, but not forcing it, taking what the defense gives him and getting down, not taking unnecessary contact.
And just for the record, I mean, they've dropped back a number of times. The only completion A.J. Hairston has so far is the guy we showed on the sideline with his helmet off right now, Reese Atkins, his tight end. Another handoff, this time to the outside. They're deep in the running back room right now. The first carry of the day from Damarion Alberic is stood on up.
Excellent job by Savion Brown. Watch how he keeps this edge. He does not allow him to get to the outside, and when he plants his foot, he's able to go up and attack the ball carrier. That is exactly how it's drawn up. Keep that edge, and when he plants, get up the field and make the tackle. But you allow pursuit to get there, so if he tries to cut back, there's nowhere to go for the running back.
Good news for UMass. Brandon Hood's back on the field. Had limped off one drive ago. The bad news is it's 3rd down and 13. For A.J. Hairston. First look at the tight end. Now the pressure steps up. He's got room to run. A.J. Hairston angling. A.J. Hairston, first down. Needed 13, got 15.
And a good job by Hairston recognizing they were in man coverage. They came with the stunt, and they gave him the opportunity to get up the field. You see, they opened up with the stunt right there. Hairston did a good job of stepping up in the pocket, realizing in man coverage, everyone had their backs to him. By the time the defenders turned around to locate him, he was able to get that first down and once again, get out of bounds without taking extra contact.
Got a nice block from Keziah Dia-Johnson on the outside. Now the give, Brandon Hood running with some fury. Brandon Hood across the 50. First down plus.
Nice job by Hood, switching hands, what you teach backs to do, protect the football, get it to the outside so they can't rip it out. Remember, you've got Red Murdoch roaming around. You want to protect that football, something they probably talked about all week coming into this football game.
40 yards in the last 2 plays. Hood again, this time to the right. He's got a big gap again. Brandon Hood across the 30. 3 straight first downs after they had one of their first 4 drives.
And now the big fellas are rolling. Watch this offensive line. They're getting up to the second level. Defenders covering them up. You've got good blocks by those big tight ends on the outside in the perimeter. That's what you're looking for from this veteran offensive line.
Right side intact for UMass. The left guard, Mike Entwistle, Harvard transfer, making his first start of the season. Brandon Hood into the teeth again. Junior Poyser, 6'1", 310-pound defensive tackle on the stop for Buffalo.
And one of the more difficult things is to block someone at 6'1", 310 pounds because he has natural leverage at that height with that mass. He did a good job of disengaging and getting on the back.
Play fake. Hairston, deep shot to the end zone. Touchdown! Keziah Dia-Johnson. First touchdown in 3 weeks for the Minutemen. Listen to the band. They've been waiting a long few weeks to hear that sound in Amherst. First career touchdown for Keziah Dia-Johnson. Derek Morris adds the extra point, and the Minutemen Forest have the lead.
And watch the safety get caught looking in the backfield, and Johnson continued to get up the field, and a good job by Hairston putting just enough air under the football to allow Johnson to run under and squeeze it for the touchdown.
First career touchdown on the third career catch for Keziah Dia-Johnson. UMass had a 3rd and 13 from their own 10-yard line. They convert on a run. This from A.J. Hairston, and the rest was history.
Well, it started out with recognition from the young quarterback. He saw man coverage, and he was able to get down the field. And then they got that run game going. The big fella breaking tackles, switching the football. Good job by Hood. And then once again, Hood getting up the field. So what this does, this attracts the safeties. And now the safety gets caught looking in the backfield. And Hairston does a good job of putting just enough air under the football for Johnson to run under it and get the touchdown.
UMass didn't lead against Western Michigan a couple of weeks ago. They didn't lead last week at Kent State. They lead Buffalo, who's undefeated in the MAC, 7-3. Marcus Lai on the kickoff for the Minutemen. And out the back of the end zone. So Buffalo's moved the ball, but they got 3 on the left side of that graphic.
Well, bend but don't break. As a defense, what your job is to understand what the offense is trying to do. You're going to give up some plays, but you want to continue to develop and game plan on the sideline and try and go out and do a better job than the previous drive. Look at what they did that was successful and make sure it's not able to be successful again. But also look at what you did defensively successfully and go and incorporate that more.
Taquan Roberson hands off to L.J. Henderson. And again, not a whole lot there. That's been the story of the early going. Chambray Jackson led the charge there, back from injury last week.
And as well as Buffalo's thrown the football, you've got to keep this defense honest, so you've got to continue to try and get that run game going. L.J. Henderson has not run as effectively as they've wanted to, but you've got to continue to try and run the football.
Buffalo's outgained UMass in the game, but you just saw the second quarter there. It's been all UMass so far. And that was the right side of the line that jumped for Buffalo. First penalty against them.
And for the first time, they showed blitz, and they brought 5, something I hadn't seen from the defense from UMass early.
False start offense, number 78, 5-yard penalty, second down.
File it under things uncharacteristic of Pete Lembo's team, right? It's not stopping the run on the defensive drive, and it's a mistake from that outstanding right side of the line led by Trevor Brock, the tackle. He and Tyler Doty have led the best pass blocking team so far in the MAC. Screen game, L.J. Henderson to the outside. He is slammed down again. Tyler Martin playing for his state.
And let me tell you something what Tyler Martin did on that play. You had two offensive linemen right there to make the block. He split both of those guys. Watch number 5 on the left side of your screen. Watch him split right here. He splits two guys right there. You've got to block him. That is a great job by the middle linebacker, splitting those guys and making that big tackle for UMass.
Been one of their positive voices in their hardest week over the last 7 days. 3rd down and 13. Play clock under 3. Roberson pressured right, throws into the face of pressure. He got the first down. Josiah Gathings on time, on target.
And you see the maturity in Roberson. He knows he's going to get hit, but he stands tall in the pocket. He knows it's coming, but he knows he just needs that one more second to allow his receiver, Gathings, to get to an open spot to get the first down.
Throw to the crosser, big hit. Patrick Clacks the catch. Taquan Roberson, 7th-year quarterback, 4 schools, 29 games, an ACL tear. He was a starter 1 time in 1 year at UConn. Not only is he experienced, he's been so many places, but this is a guy playing like it's his last shot, because it is his last shot in college football.
And you have to applaud his perseverance to continue to push through and deal with injury and get himself to this position.
2nd and 5 out quick again. Victor Snow in space, and then there was no space. Rally to the football led by Darion Craig, and it's 3rd down.
And Jeremiah McGill, number 6, didn't make the tackle, but he made the play. He was able to get up there and affect the running lane and allow his teammates to get over there and make the tackle. You don't always have to make the tackle, but you affect the play, allow pursuit to get over there.
Clock under 7 to go in this first half. 3rd down and 4 for Buffalo. They're 2 for 6 on 3rd down today. Passing back, Terrence Shelton is in the ball game. Clacks in motion. Timeout, Buffalo.
And you saw what UMass did. They brought 6 up on the line of scrimmage. They're switching it up right now. They're making Buffalo think. I like what I'm seeing from this UMass defense. They're kind of in their comfort zone right now, and they feel like they're able to control what's going on with what they're showing Roberson pre-snap and post-snap. I like the changeup, and I like what they're doing, making Buffalo think now.
7-3 ball game here with 6.5 to go in this opening half. Biggest third down of the day so far, 3rd and 4. What's your call, Forrest?
Well, I think you've got up top Nick McMillan, man coverage. I think you go with the short crossing route, or you try and get him up the field on a vertical route. The safety doesn't have enough time to get over there on a short route, and I think if you're going to go with the vertical route, go quick right now. You look at the safety, what the safety will dictate. You see him shading over there towards McMillan, so you know possibly the vertical route is out, but now you've shifted over there.
He went that way, and he got McMillan. You called it, hit him on the slant, 1st down Buffalo.
Absolutely, you saw what they did. They shifted Victor Snow over there to occupy that safety, so he had to stay inside, not allowing him to attack outside, and that gave them the room that they needed to get the ball over to McMillan to get that 1st down.
They said on 3rd downs and in the red zone particularly, we were going to have to win one-on-ones. They have. Play action, pressure left, deep ball, Roberson towards Victor Snow. He got it knocked down, incomplete. Cameron Watkins-Hunter had the coverage on the last play. Brennan Bailey gets the knockdown, and UMass stands that up.
Excellent play by Bailey. He's able to reach over Snow, not affect Snow. His body touched Snow, but he didn't affect Snow's ability to try and make a play on the football, and he's looking back at the football, making a play. That's why the official did not make a call on that play. A great job by Bailey tracking that football, not panicking. A lot of times you see guys panicking when the ball is in the air, and Bailey, a young player, a sophomore, didn't panic. He was able to get his hands on that football.
2nd and 10. Swing pass, L.J. Henderson. Tyler Martin in pursuit. Tyler Martin finished him off. No gain.
And you see what Ryan Barnes did on that play? He's able to get to the outside, and that is what you want to do, not allow the ball carrier to plant and get north and south. You know you've got pursuit coming from the backside. Your job is to keep contained, keep that edge. Don't allow him to plant and get north and south.
Buffalo just converted on a 3rd down and 4 to keep the drive alive. This is 3rd down and 11. This is where 16, bottom of your screen, Marcus White, is scary. Roberson with White coming after him, steps up, throws down the middle. Caught by Gathings, turns the corner, and he's short.
And you see what they did on that play. They showed 1 deep safety. They had 6 at the line of scrimmage. At the snap of the football, they dropped back into an intermediate zone. Look at all the players at the line of scrimmage, but you see at the snap, they dropped back into an intermediate zone, rush 3. They had everything covered, keep everything in front of you, give up the short throw, make the tackle. That is just how the defense is designed to work. You want to give up that short throw, make the tackle, make them punt the football.
Darion Craig had the tackle. Kenyon Massey on the return. And another fair catch. 3rd time a UMass drive's going to start inside their 15-yard line after a punt from Dylan Drennan. 4:25 to go in this 2nd half. 7-3 UMass and a chance to extend their lead.
And I think the key to this drive is the first play. I would like to see UMass lean on those offensive linemen, that veteran-laden offensive line again, and get the ball in Brandon Hood's hands. He was very effective on that last drive with 2 huge runs. And I want to see them hand them the football. Test your offensive line, challenge your offensive line to get movement at the point of attack.
You're right. On that drive, runs of 21, 25, and 16 to give them their first lead over Buffalo. And they're doing it again. Brandon Hood up the middle. He ducked underneath, and he splits the defense. There he goes, down the middle. Give it to him. Watch him go. Touchdown.
And this offensive line, they're doing a good job of firing off and then getting up to the second level defenders. A great job right there by number 79, Mosesso, getting up and covering up that linebacker. When you got the big fella, 6'5", 305, getting up there, and you got Hood doing a good job of being patient, allowing those blocks and the blocking scheme to develop, he's able to go through basically untouched. And when you get to the open field, if we even, I'm leaving. He outran the defense for a 90-yard touchdown. Great job by that offensive line.
First 90-yard rushing play in this program since 1996.
And a great job by UMass. What they did is you watch the offensive line. They get up in this area right here to cover up all of these guys right here. And that's what you ask of your guys to do. You want to cover up those linebackers. Once you get up there and cover them up, now you leave the running back no one at the second and third level because everybody is covered up. And once he's able to get through there, like I always said, I'm leaving because I've got the speed to get to the end zone. There's nobody there to make the tackle. A good job making blocks at the point of attack on those tandem blocks, and then understanding your guy's going to take over the block. You climb up to that second level, and then blocks on the perimeter. Those linebackers are covered up, and you've got those receivers getting on top of those safeties. There was nobody left, and Hood did a good job of following his blocks. And once he got to the open field, it was just, let me show you how fast I am. Let me show you how fast I can run 90 yards. Great job by the offensive line. Great play call, leaning on that offensive line that has done a good job the last couple of drives.
14-3 ball game.
Thank you.
Touchback off the foot of Marcus Lai. That is the second 90-yard rushing play in UMass history. The last one came in 1996. Tom Dicker against Boston University. Boston University doesn't have a football team anymore.
Now, what we talked about earlier, this is what family does, parents do. What do you like to do more so than anything else? Show out for your mom and dad, for your parents. And this is a great opportunity. Mom and dad are in the crowd. Parents are here, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews. Hey, UMass is showing up and showing out so far.
Play fake. Roberson to the sideline. Yeah, that's incomplete, intended for Nick McMillan. And there is something to that, right? Mom and dad are here watching, and you could feel it when you walked in this building today that it felt a little different around here.
Well, we felt it when we were downstairs on the field in pregame. There was a lot more energy on the UMass side of the field during warmups. I thought Buffalo was kind of flat. And I tell you what, Buffalo needs to be careful because that was an incompletion. The clock is not moving. And right now, this UMass offense is fired up, and the defense is pinning their ears and coming after the quarterback right now. So they need to be careful. Don't give up an easy turnover. You know you want to try and move the football.
Throw again down the chute. Victor Snow with the catch. Victor Snow bouncing down inside the 40. They needed it. They went to their need man.
And you've got to cover up the little fella because you know of his ability to get down the field. A good job by Roberson finding his receiver on the seam route right there in between all the defenders. We talk about how small he is, but he's such a tough individual. He's able to take a licking and keep on ticking, and you see his ability.
Deep shot again in the area of Gay Things. It is knocked down on the interception attempt on the outside. Ryan Barnes, the Notre Dame transfer. He stays down. He had missed so much time healthy for the second straight week. They've been so excited that he's been back in the secondary. They feel like they're better. They feel like they're deeper.
And Ryan Barnes, well, he looked like he was almost a receiver on this play. You see he's stretching out, trying to grab this football. A great attempt by Barnes to make the interception. How big would that have been? I think he may have just gotten, hopefully, just the wind knocked out of him.
3 years at Notre Dame. He played in the Fiesta Bowl for Notre Dame. And part of the passing issues they've had defensively have been because that guy hasn't been on the field.
Well, he's not only a really good defender on the outside, but he's long, 6'2", long arms, able to, really do a good job of locating the football, covering up receivers on the outside. Some of the bigger receivers that Buffalo has, he's able to man up on the outside with those guys because of his length and his ability to run with those guys. He's got good speed at that size as well, and he's got experience. So you want to keep him healthy and keep him on the field because he creates more depth on the back end of that defense for UMass.
We just showed all the length on the Buffalo side walking out of that huddle. It's hard to imagine a worse day to have backup corners in against an offense and a receiving core like this.
And you have to wonder, will Roberson in this offense attack his replacement on this play?
Brennan Bailey is in top of your screen. Play fake, look right, find McMillan. Evades one. McMillan on the cutback, and he is tugged down after he picks up the first down. Gain of 14 for Buffalo.
Now, this is where the UMass defense has done a good job all afternoon. Once they get down inside the 25, they've done a good job of bending but not breaking, tightening up on that defense. Can they continue to do that and close out this half?
Sixth catch for McMillan. He's on the bottom against that backup corner right now of your screen. Roberson looks that way, throws down the chute, caught by Victor Snow. He stays up and he slithers in for a Buffalo touchdown. Buffalo lineman's down injured behind the play. Check that in a moment. For now, the throw, Forrest.
And you see once again, Snow's able to find a hole in that zone and make himself a target. A good job by Roberson fitting the ball in there where only Snow can make a play on it. And I just don't understand the defense. You've got to know that Snow is the top target on that drive. I know McMillan has made a lot of plays this afternoon, but Snow has been their top target. You've got to know that. But we also, got to hope that the offensive lineman, I can't see if that's 78 or 79, but I saw someone get rolled up from the backside. They're checking the stability of the knee, something you hate to see when a lineman is down. And that's one of the more difficult things about being an offensive lineman. When you're pass blocking, a lot of times you get rolled up from behind when somebody falls. So we've got to hope that he's going to be okay.
I think it is Trevor Brock, their outstanding right tackle, who's down, and
It's
nice
great
to see him
see
get
that.
up.
Excellent, excellent to see him get up and actually be able to run off.
Moved from guard to tackle this year. He was a great guard for them last year. They needed him at tackle. He's been awesome for them. They've been the best right side of any offensive line this year, and there it is, 79.
Yeah, watch at the end of this play. He gets rolled up from behind. You see right there, rolled up on his left leg from behind. It's great to see him be able to get up and run off. And the thing about him going from guard to tackle, that makes him one of those guys that the NFL scouts love, because you have to be able to play 2 and 3 positions at that level. I think he's more fit to be a tackle because he doesn't have the girth you look for as a guard at 315, 6'5". He's more of a slender, longer guy. But then it depends on the system that he plays in. But I do think he has Sunday ability.
Jack Howes adds the extra point. 14-10 game. And we'll see if Brock comes out there. They've got good depth at the tackle spot. First, though, enjoy a little Victor Snow.
And once again, I think you've got to keep multiple eyes on Snow. The safety, you can't take that much time. You've got to come up and press, get on top of Snow, make Roberson go somewhere else with the football. You know that's where he wants to go. I thought the safety set back too long before he reacted. I think it's the safety. You've got to flash up and let them know, no, this is not where you're going to go with the football, not Snow. That was the second throw, the second time he ran the exact same route. 2 big plays on that drive of the exact same route. So that safety recognition, you allow it to happen the first time, you recognize it, but you don't allow it to happen again.
2:55 in the second after everything you described there. Jack Howes on the kick for Buffalo in a 4-point game. Kezion Dia-Johnson, who just scored a touchdown for UMass, watches it fly out the back of the end zone. 2 timeouts for the Minutemen, 2 for Buffalo, 2:55, and you talk about emotions in this game, right? You get a 90-yard touchdown run from Brandon Hood. UMass feeling good, 14-3, biggest lead in the last few weeks for them. Buffalo strikes right back in less than a minute and a half.
But if you're UMass, you can't think about that. What you can think about is you've got 2 timeouts and you've got the 2-minute timeout. So you've got 3 opportunities to stop the clock. You don't have to rush. Continue to use that run game. They haven't stopped Hood. Continue to hand him the football. Continue to challenge that offensive line and knock people off the football and get to the second-level defenders.
Handoff, Brandon Hood staggering left. And he gets a gain of 3. Deion Crawford led the way. Off injury, they felt like he could have a big day. Helmet came off for Buffalo. That's why the clock stopped for a moment. Roll him right. A.J. Hairston looked at Hood and he threw it to him. Brandon Hood with the catch, stays and then walks out of bounds. Gain of 4. Solomon Brown in coverage. And it's 3rd down and 5.
And what I like about that play, Hairston allowed Hood to clear some of those defenders, get out to the outside before he threw the football. He had immediate pressure, but he continued to elude that pressure, because if he would have thrown that ball earlier, with the way the pressure was coming, he may have been able to get a hand on that football.
Seen Hairston take some jumps today. He hasn't thrown it a ton. He's run the ball well. They've been great on 3rd down. They do not need to snap it before the 2-minute timeout if they don't want to. And they're not gonna. UMass goes 90 yards to score. Buffalo comes right back. 3rd down and 5 with 2 flat to go in the half when we return. It's been the best half of football that this stadium's seen all year. UMass up 14-10 on Buffalo. Buffalo, who was 2-0 in the MAC coming in. UMass winless overall coming in, but Forrest's biggest 3rd down and 5 of the day for A.J. Hairston.
And I'd like to see them right now go to the tight end, a delayed tight end leak. The tight ends have not had many opportunities this afternoon. I think it's an opportunity to go to one of your big fellows, try and get that 5 yards, convert this, and keep this drive alive.
Brandon Hood's the running back. A.J. Hairston's the quarterback. Steps back, pressures all over him. Kobe Stewart, annihilation on 3rd down.
And it almost seemed like the offense thought that the defense was offsides because nobody moved. You see right there? I don't know if there was some confusion, and that's something that you can't have coming off of a timeout. Everybody needs to be on the same page. You know, only the center moved initially. The other offensive lineman just kind of stood
Almost
there.
looked like an early snap.
Absolutely. And those are the mental errors once again. Coming off of a timeout. They had a mental error with too many men on the field when they came out of a change of possession. Now coming out of a timeout, the 2-minute timeout, you have a mental error again where everyone doesn't know the snap count. These are the things that, you know, are the differences between winning and losing a football game.
Buffalo used the timeout also to stop the clock.
And it just takes the wind out of the sails of a team when things like this happen.
So Keegan Andrews back out there. He's going to punt for a 4th time today. This is a boomer, high and deep towards Victor Snow. Give Snow a chance. He spins away. No, he didn't. They got to him. Big special teams tackle. Dallas Elliott. And he kept a guy who's not been kept in check all day.
And one of the things that was impressive, he's able to hold on to Snow's T-shirt. He was not going to let him go. And that's all you do, hold on to him and allow your teammate Seal to get there to finish the tackle. Grab onto anything that you can, man, and hold on. Now, for UMass, you've got to cover Snow up. You cannot allow Snow to be the playmaker that he was on that last drive.
Fine 0. It's a Where's Waldo. He's in the slot now in motion towards the trips at the bottom of your screen. Taquan Roberson crossing route behind Nick McMillan, incomplete.
And that's a dangerous throw by Roberson because you've got defenders coming that way. You've got to be careful with the football. Very dangerous right there. They're in zone coverage, so you're going to have defenders all over the field in different parts of the field. You've got to be very careful with the football right here.
Clock at 1:40. 1 Buffalo timeout, 2 for UMass. Taquan Roberson on 2nd down in the pocket, stood up, found his man. Josiah Gathings spinning down. He gets 16 yards.
And one of the things UMass did on that play, I think they're dropping too deep. They're leaving too much underneath right there. There were several places Roberson could have went with the football.
Pressure, got rid of it, down the sideline. Incomplete, looking for Patrick Clax. By the way, Trevor Brock is back in there. You just saw him with Roberson. So the guy who was injured on the touchdown pass is back in the ballgame, which is great news for a team that needs him in there.
And it's great to see their all-conference player back out there at right tackle. He's been a cornerstone of this offensive line throughout this season. So great to see him back out there, and you know, hopefully he can continue to play and do well for this ball club.
Straight drop back. Taquan Roberson took the underneath route, but actually didn't. Mark Anthony Scott Jr. was open, and he missed a man for a 2nd time on the drive.
And what's interesting is now it's 3rd down. The clock is stopped because that's an incompletion. So if they're able to get a stop here, they may be able to get good field position, forcing Buffalo to punt and possibly be in a position to put more points on the board before the half.
Another 3rd down and long, and another pressure look from UMass. They show 6, they drop, rush 3. Roberson's got time, steps up, flips it out. Looking for Henderson, it's on the turf, it's incomplete. UMass gets a stop with 1:18 to go.
And even if he's able to catch that football, they had enough defensive coverage where they're going to make the tackle. But a good job showing one defense pre-snap, dropping into a different defense post-snap, making Roberson think. Roberson went the right place with the football. He just didn't put enough on it.
Dylan Drennan punting again. This is off the side of his foot, but it's a deep line drive. Kenyon Massey the catch. And he was escorted out of bounds. 1:10 to go in the first half. UMass has the lead 14-10. That's big too. Buffalo had been one of the best 2-minute offense teams in this league. They scored to win against Eastern Michigan, and this defense does the job.
Well, they had some opportunities. They had the opportunity down the sideline. The ball was just outside of the receiver's hands. But I thought Roberson had some bad throws on that drive. He had 2 throws behind McMillan that could have been first down plays. And that, once again, is a part of the process of making him think a little bit with what they're showing him pre-snap and post-snap.
Let Hairston throw. Looks right. He's pressured again. He steps up. He ran into his own offensive lineman. Junior Poyser had some help there, too. No gain.
And a good job by the Buffalo defense collapsing the pocket around Hairston, not giving him anywhere to go with the football and squeezing him down.
They decide to go fast. Again, pressure to the right. Hairston throws it out. That is incomplete. Boy, there was a lot of contact. Brandon Hood got knocked down by Deion Crawford. And Hood stays down. UMass wanted a flag they're not going to get.
Now the question is, was the ball tipped?
Brandon Hood stays down.
And massaging his calf may be a cramp.
He had come off earlier in the game. I looked at him for a little while. He's been back in since. .45 seconds to go in the first half. 14-10 UMass lead. It'll be 3rd down and 14 for Joe Harris-Simiak. Let's see.
Now let's see if this ball was tipped. It's not tipped. And there's definitely contact. That could have been called. Buffalo may have gotten away with one, and that would have been an automatic first down.
Yeah, complete drive changer. See Brandon Hood come out. They were so excited about him this week. Had such a great week of practice. Felt like the quiet guy was running like a silent assassin killer kind of guy. He came back after his last cramp or whatever it was. Gave him a 90-yard touchdown. They'll have halftime probably to figure it on out. And you turn your attention out of the 3rd and 15 or so with 45 seconds. You think you probably run this football?
Yeah, well, you know what? I'd go for the vertical pass. I see if I can get one down the field. But I also, you got to look to make sure you don't give up a turnover. So you get the ball coming out in the second half. Yeah, maybe you go ahead and run the football. Be safe. Yeah, be safe. I'm thinking from an offensive lineman's perspective, we always want to go for it. But you've got to be safe.
And they do. Jawan Price on the carry out to the 30-yard line. Buffalo had 1 timeout left. I think they just used it. 37 seconds to go in this first half. And Forrest, as you kind of zoom out now, and again, Buffalo has time to change it. I imagine they'll try with the receivers that they have, but I think if you're UMass sitting here with 37 seconds to go in this first half, this is as good of a 2 quarters of football as Joe Harris-Simiak's team has played this year against an FBS team.
You've got to feel good about it, but you've also got to be weary. You're facing a Buffalo team that will try to block this punt. They were close on one. They had a block on one that was actually a penalty. So for UMass, the first thing that you've got to do is get this punt away. And then once you do get the punt away, you've got to remember who's back there, Victor Snow, and make sure you cover this punt. You don't want to give up good field position. You've got 38 seconds to get to the half with the lead, and that's what your focus should be right now. But you've got to get this punt off. Protect your punter. Get the punt off. Punter has to understand they're coming after it.
They show it. Andrews got it away. Victor Snow watches the directional punt bounce to him, and he'll field it from the 10. Slip 1 down the sideline. A return of 6 yards on a great punt from Andrews inside the 10.
Excellent. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better punt. On the sideline, don't give Snow a lot of room to operate, and make sure you cover that punt. Good job. Now, defensively, keep everything in front of you. And if you give up a reception, give it up in the middle of the field. Don't allow them to get out of bounds to stop the clock. You want to try and prevent them from getting a first down. If you want to give up a short reception where they have to try and line up on the football and the clock continues to run. You don't want to give up a first down where the clock will stop while they set the football.
There have been moments like this where, again, you might think Buffalo's going to just sit on the football, and they don't. 28 seconds in this second quarter.
I don't like how close the safeties are right now. I like, okay, you're dropping that safety back.
McGill got back there. Roberson goes underneath to L.J. Henderson. Flag comes down behind the play.
You're going to get holding on number 73, Henry Tabanzi, on the outside to tackle.
Holding. Offense, number 73. At the distance to the goal line from the previous spot. First down.
This is probably one of the most obvious holdings I've seen in a long time. I mean, he just put his arm around his neck and brought him down. I mean, there's no need to even argue about that. Just say, hey, okay, I did. I held him.
That never happened to you, right?
Oh, no, absolutely not. I've gotten a holding call, but not that
no
egregious.
flagrants.
Yeah, not as egregious as that.
Henderson gets the give. UMass has 2 timeouts to burn if they want to. They're not gonna. That should take us to halftime. The Massachusetts Minutemen have not led against an FBS opponent at halftime since last year. They're going to take a 14-10 lead into the break against Buffalo. And honestly, look at them.
Energy. That positive energy.
They have not had that feeling running into the halftime locker room all year long.
Yeah, I missed your first part of it. I'm sorry. What'd you say?
No, hey, Coach, you know, I just said it. You know, you haven't had this feeling going into halftime, you know, yet this year. What did you like most about what your team just did?
Yeah, I think we embraced the moment in that first half. We've been talking about all week, taking ownership for everything and playing. And, you know, that was probably one of our better halves of the year. So now we got an opportunity, and it's what you do with that. So I'm proud of them for 30 minutes. Now we got to go another 30.
Coach, talk about your offensive line. They've done a heck of a job blocking up front, allowing for Hairston to have time to go down the field with the football, and Hood with the big plays running the football.
Yeah, I think the O-line is doing a good job sustaining their blocks for the most part. I think that's what gave Brandon that crease. But we're you know, we need to run the ball to give AJ a shot. So I'm happy we got it going there. First quarter was a little rough, but this drive coming out right here, you know, everyone talks about the middle eight. We got to put points on the board in this drive coming out.
Coach, thanks. Good luck.
Thank you.
Joe Harris-Simiak, this team's been fighting, man, for the last, well, many, many years. And they get here to a lead at the break against Buffalo. We'll dive into that drive coming up when we return at halftime.
show everybody what the Bronco standard's about. It's not about what you want, it's about what you're willing to do to get football. We love football. We love football.
Today ain't just a game, it's redemption, you hear me? Today we ain't just gonna win, we gonna get our revenge.
I'm so proud of our kids, the coaches, just everybody. They believed, and we came here and got it done.
Michigan is going to walk it in 98 yards for the touchdown. And he gets to the outside. He's done. He's down to the sideline. Comes back. He'll walk it into the end zone. Incredible. Make a man miss. Are you kidding me? Can he get to the end zone? A touchdown. 57 dazzling yards.
Game on the line. There he goes. House call. 28 yards for the score. They got a big hole on the outside here.
To take a shot back in the end zone. Touchdown. Inside the 5. Here's in the house. Touchdown.
I'd invite you to find your nearest wall and then run through it. Man, that's MAC football. So is this. You know, you got your eye on that Miami game. Remember, Buffalo, who we see here, Western, who's off, and that Miami team were the only undefeated teams left in the MAC, at least in conference play. And Miami, Ohio wins again. So they're 3-0. They join Western Michigan. Buffalo needs to win today to stay at 3-0 and up with those teams. And remember, I know Buffalo fans are not focused on this right now. They've got it next week, Miami and Buffalo. For now, though, they're thinking about the second half as the band plays here in Amherst. We continue with the halftime report next.
The College Football Playoff begins December 19th and concludes with the National Championship January 19th on ESPN.
We're inside 3 months from that as we look at the top 10 in college football right now. Miami went down against Louisville last night. That's been the story waking up today in college football. Probably story number 2 is Vandy over LSU, 2 top 25 teams. Diego Pavia gets the job done, 31-24 there. We've got our first half conversation and then a look towards the second half when we come back in a 4-point game at the break here from Amherst. I swear you wouldn't believe the number of high school band players that were on that field a second ago. They are herding them off, and we're back to it at halftime. UMass celebrating for the moment, 14-10 lead over Buffalo, as we welcome you inside alongside Forrest Connolly, Cooper Boardman. Thanks for being with us. I mean, there's a lot of time to go, but that's the best 2 quarters UMass has played against an FBS team this year. They didn't have much offensively early. They were 3rd and 13 inside their own 15-yard line at one point. and then one run changed the entire half.
Well, that's where they put it all together. Their quarterback decided to read the defense, took what the defense gave him. He saw they were in man coverage, and he allowed himself to run and get the first down. And I like what he did as a young quarterback. He didn't try to make the super play. He got out of bounds, avoided contact, but he extended that drive, and that is what got this offense going. And that offensive line, they started firing off the football, and they set the tone for what we saw in the second quarter.
Let's run it back here. I mean, this is the run from A.J. Hairston. Again, when you talk about a team that didn't have anything, from this point on, they had more than 170 yards of total offense.
For recognition, noticing that man coverage, they had their backs to him, and then here, extending the play and putting enough air on it for Johnson, and then they get the ball to the big fella Hood, and you see him break. Great blocking by the offensive line, great blocking on the perimeter by the tight ends, getting to the third level defenders, and then when Hood got to the outside, he had the speed to get 90 yards down the field to get the touchdown.
UMass took a 14-3 lead. Buffalo got one back late. That puts us here at 14-10. You look at the passing yards for Buffalo, 247 of them. UMass has kept the run game in check, and it adds up to a 4-point ball game. We got Maction. It's true Maction. We can promise you it's Maction. Second half on your way next. 4-point game at the half. We're joined by head coach Pete Lembo at the break. Coach, as you walk out and look at the last 30 minutes, what do you take away from the first half?
Well, first of all, we got to find a way to run the ball better. We're moving it really well offensively, but most of it's through the air, and a lot of it's chunk plays. So we got to find a way to stay a little bit more balanced here in the second half. Defensively, we started off like crazy. I mean, 3 and outs, and they were barely gaining a yard. That second quarter was way below our standards and expectations. So let's see if these guys can respond here in the second half.
Coach, thanks. Good luck.
Okay, thank you.
The head coach of the Buffalo Bulls, Pete Lembo. Nick McMillan and Buffalo down against UMass is the first halftime lead against an FBS team this year for UMass, who had not won a game, and they get the ball to begin the second half on the touchback off the right leg of Jack Howes.
Now, one of the concerns for UMass coming into the second half is in the last 4 games, they have not scored a point in the second half. So they've got, I think, to put more points on the board to win this football game, but they've got to just score. I mean, even if it's 2 points, 3 points, something. And, you know, there's got to be psychologically something that they're thinking about. You hope that they use what they've done in the second quarter to not allow that to affect them negatively, but it's got to psychologically be in there somewhere.
UMass ran the football big time in the first half. 176 yards, most of them from Brandon Hood, and he gets the call to start the half. He bounces outside, he steps up, he got popped and then dragged down. That's the Buffalo trademark, a rally led by Mitchell Gonzer. And that's what Pete Lembo just told us needed to happen. They got to stop the run.
You got to stretch it, stretch it, stretch it. You cannot give that edge. You want to allow your defenders to get there, pursuit to get there, make him cut it back, but don't allow that edge. A good job not allowing Hood to get north and south.
Roll him right. A.J. Hairston steps by a man. He wants to run. He is crunched, fighting. 3rd, 4th man in there. Gave every bit of himself for 4 yards. Malin White on the tackle, 3rd down.
And a good decision by Hairston on that play. He wanted to go to Hood, but they had Hood covered up initially, so he saw an opportunity to get positive yards and not put the ball in harm's way. I like the decision by Hairston on that play.
UMass was 2 for 7 in the first half on 3rd down. This is 3rd down and 3. Toss to the left. Hood, cut back, goes back towards the line to gain. I don't think he got there. He did not. White in there again along with Junior Poyser. 4th down.
And a good job by Malin White, making the tackle, not allowing him to get past the yard marker. You see, it looked like Hood was going to have the room to get up the field, but Malin White able to change direction, get a body on the body, and not allow Hood to get going to fall forward enough to get that first down.
1 second ago, there was a little moment of wavering. Are we going to go or not? The offense was not happy that Joe Harris-Simiak took him off the field. He had to. The flag flies. They tried, I think, the fake attempt.
Kicking team, number 20, 5-yard penalty.
And a false start.
4th down.
And I like it. You know, they saw something, and they tried to get a quick play going. Unfortunately, they got the false start.
That's the second time in as many weeks where they've had a fake kind of play dialed up. They had last week an onside kick against Kent State. It was wiped off the board that they recovered after an offside call. And that fake that we never really got a chance to see doesn't happen as Victor Snow makes a fair catch. And now we turn our attention towards the first drive for Buffalo. Taquan Roberson. I mean, if I had told you, Forrest, he was going to go 23 out of 34 for 247 and a touchdown in the first half, you'd say Buffalo would be winning the game. Problem is, it's the only offense they had.
Yes, but they've also done a good job, UMass, defensively of bending but not breaking. Outside of that one drive where they allowed Buffalo to just go down the field, basically, throwing the football to Snow in the seam, they've done a good job of bending but not breaking.
Handoff started with Al-J Henderson, and he slips forward in the region of where he was in the first half. He averaged just 2.5 yards per carry in the first 30 minutes.
Now, what's going to be interesting is to see what type of defensive adjustments UMass made at the half to slow down these receivers on the outside.
Roberson will throw, goes underneath, hits his tight end. Evan King has his second catch. He's stacked up short. Malcolm Green part of the charge. Third down.
Big third down right here. I expect them to give it to L.J. Henderson. Actually, they did convert on the first down. That was pretty close, yeah.
The chains were moving and then not moving and then moving again. Finally, they get him reset. There's no third down call to be had.
And I thought he got, that initial catch was past the sticks. But the officials took their time.
Run play up the middle, L.J. Henderson. You see the commitment now. They threw it 24 times in the first half. They ran it just 9.
And a good job by the offensive line. And you see right here, it looked like L.J. was going to be able to get a big run out of that, but Donovan Dyson able to disengage and make that tackle.
On 2nd and 5, back to L.J. Henderson is slammed. Tyler Martin met him.
And this is what UMass wants. They want to get in 3rd and 4 or 5, allow them to be able to unleash their pass rushes, but they've got to do a better job of covering up those receivers. I want to see if they jump some of those short routes, that Buffalo is able to complete and convert first downs on the last couple of drives. They need to jump those routes, get up on those receivers, don't give up a free release, get hands on them off the line of scrimmage.
3rd down and 3. Victor Snow in motion. A throw. Pressure. Roberson out fast. First down. Another safety blanket catch from Evan King.
And 3rd down after 3rd down after 3rd down, they go with the same plays. You see the tight end right there sneaking up underneath that coverage, going right past the sticks. What I would expect the defense to do is line up at the sticks, because that's all they're doing, getting past the sticks and making themselves a target for the quarterback.
Now the backup running back, Terrence Shelton, bursting forward. Gets 9 yards on first down.
The defense must sit one play.
Ron Skinner lost his helmet. First half, it was so many 1-2 play bursts to get 30, 40 yards or nothing. This has been a 6-play grind for 3 first downs.
And it's a different kind of burst from Terrence Shelton running the football.
Play fake, throw it out quick. Nick McMillan with the catch radius and the first down.
And right now, Roberson is feeling extremely comfortable when he sees man coverage on the outside, no safety help. He's going to go to that. Continue to see free releases on the outside. In man coverage, you've got to get a body on the body. Don't give up the free release.
Right back to McMillan, right back to another catch. He's got 8 grabs. He's over 90 yards, and it's back-to-back first downs.
Well, they're giving up a 10-yard cushion on the snap, and then they're bailing at the snap of the football. You've got to come up and attack that receiver. You see the cushion. Every time you see that cushion, if I'm Roberson, I'm just going to go out there. The receivers are just running stop routes, 5-yard stop routes.
Back underneath, Shelton into the body, went back and forward, and stacked up again after 2 yards. Darion Craig, his 9th tackle, a game-leading 9th tackle. There's a UMass defensive player down on one knee. That's Chambray Jackson, who came in banged up. They needed him on the field because he's their best pressure guy. And on a day where their starting running back has been down for extended periods, couple members of their defense, Jackson sits as we step aside. 4-point ball game, Buffalo driving on their first drive of the second half. First Buffalo drive of the second half, and they are driving. You got your eyes on what we're about to see here. Top of the screen and all this cushion.
Well, that is what concerns us. You got an 8-yard cushion, and the defensive back turns around and runs backwards at the snap of the football. I think you got to start jumping some of these routes because Roberson sees that, and he's going directly to the here. You've got a 10-yard cushion, and then you're going back in man coverage. You've got to cover that up. You're allowing him to get past the sticks and get an easy first down. You've got to jump some of these routes.
It's gotten Buffalo here, 2nd down and 8. Another throw, same thing. And it's complete to Lamar Sperling. I mean, we just showed 2 replays. It happened again.
And they're going to continue to go to it until you stop it. And this is the perfect time to jump. You see, once again, at the snap of the football, you've given up an 8-yard cushion, and then you're bailing at the snap of the football. I mean, all they're doing is running 6 or 7 yards, turning around, catching the ball, getting 2 or 3 more yards.
First down and goal inside the 10-yard line. 10th play got them here. Now the 11th play of the drive for Buffalo. That's Victor Snow in the backfield with Sperling. They give it to Snow. Got the edge. Running towards the outside. Victor Snow pushed out of bounds inside the 3. Tyler Martin shoves, saves 6 points.
And this should have been a 3-yard loss, but the elusiveness of Snow, his ability to continue to speed to the outside, bounce it. Watch, right here. This should be a tackle right there. But Victor Snow's elusive ability, he's a slippery runner, and he's able to get the speed to get to the outside. That is what makes him such a dangerous ball carrier.
Snow again in motion, fake it to him. Pop pass to the outside. Incomplete, flag down from behind. Kendall Bourne's in coverage on L.J. Henderson.
And he never turned around. If he turns around, this is an opportunity to make a play on the football.
Pass interference. Defense, number 3. Ball will be placed at the 2-yard line. First down.
Turn around, look for the football. Make a play on the football, not the player. He's more in a position to make the reception on that play because of leverage, but he's running through the receiver.
First down and goal. 2 tight ends set. L.J. Henderson and Taquan Roberson in the backfield. Henderson up the middle, diving. They mark him short.
And I think we're definitely in 4-down territory right here. They're going to run behind that right side, behind Brock, behind Doty. This is where they get their bread and butter. This is where they feel like they should be able to score. You see good movement by those guys. But I think, you know, Johnson, you've got to keep your head up. There's an opportunity to score on that play, but you've got to keep your head up.
First eye set. Roberson turns, hand to the fullback. Touchdown, Terrence Shelton Jr. gives Buffalo the lead.
And a good job by Shelton. You know, he's able to, basically he got stopped initially, but it looked like number 6, Jeremiah McGill, as opposed to pulling him back, pulled him into the end zone. I think as opposed to pulling, you need to hit and pull backwards. But you see right here, it almost looked like he's pushing him into the end zone. But a good job by Shelton keeping his feet moving and driving to get the score for Buffalo.
Extra point from Jack Howes gives Buffalo the lead. First career touchdown for Terrence Shelton Jr. A smile and a celebration of a lifetime for that kid. This kid, this quarterback, Taquan Roberson, waited his whole life to get a chance to be the quarterback for a team like this. Down at the half, he just led them to the lead.
Well, they're giving him everything that he wants. He's doing a good job of taking what the defense gives him. They're playing man on the outside, giving a bunch of cushion. He's finding his tight ends. He's finding his big play receiver, Snow, down the field, McMillan. He has done any and everything that he possibly can to put his team in a position to take the lead in this ball game when they fell behind. And he is doing a good job of just staying patient. Like I said, he's delivering strikes. The defense is giving him opportunities, and he's taking advantage of every one of them.
We're in the third quarter. That's his line today. 28 out of 39. He went 5 for 5 for 46 yards on the drive that you just walked us through. And here we are. Buffalo has their second lead. Zion Dia-Johnson, fair catch. And it's a gotta have it, it feels like, for UMass.
And one of the concerns for Coach Limbo and his staff coming into this game is they wanted Roberson to have a higher completion percentage. He's had some good yardage games, but they wanted the percentage completion to be higher. Came in, you know, at 50% overall, 58 the last ball game, doing a better job of precision passing in this football game.
Pete Lembo's seventh-year quarterback gets the job done. Now it's UMass quarterback, a redshirt freshman, A.J. Hairston, who did not begin the year as the starter, who's got the ball in his hands in front of the biggest crowd of the year at home. Under center for one of the first times today. Donnie Gray in motion. They go play action and look and set up a screen for Brandon Hood, who turns the corner. 8 yards to start their second drive of the second half.
And I like that, a safe play, but a positive play. Put them in third and very manageable. Good job by the offensive lineman. I love the way number 63, Kyle Brown, is able to get out there and get the lead block. If 39 doesn't get out there and make that play, Mitchell Gonzer, that's an opportunity for a bigger play than we saw.
Now a handoff and Hood had nothing. Red Murdoch ate him for breakfast.
And read that play and did a good job of being slippery and not allowing himself to get blocked. You see right there, the offensive lineman, Luke Panton, has to do a better job, 72. You got to remember, the linebacker is a better athlete than you are. So you got to use your girth and get in front of that guy and make him make a play around you. You can't give up a free release to Red Murdoch.
Best linebacker in the MAC. Third down. It was movement. Yeah, it was movement. False start against UMass.
False start. Offense, number 26, 5-yard penalty. Third down.
They got Brandon Hood. I think there was also motion on the left side of the line.
And mental errors. You know, you go from 2nd and 2 to 3rd and 12. 5-yard loss on 2nd down, and then you jump off sides on 3rd down. You just can't have these mental errors.
3rd down and long. They rush 3. A.J. Hairston, flush to his right, steps up. In the pocket, pressure behind, stumbling, throwing. Caught! Max Dowling down the sideline. He stays in. Max Dowling! Touchdown!
And this play is made by A.J. Hairston. You see the young fella keeping the play alive. The first thing, Buffalo only rushed 3, but they were able to get initial, immediate pressure. But you see Hairston doing a good job of avoiding the pass rush, keeping his feet, keeping his eyes down the field. Something we talked about that this young kid has done all afternoon when he's been flushed out of the pocket. He does a good job of keeping his eyes down the field. That's one of the more impressive things about him that I've seen throughout this afternoon. Might not have had many completions, but he's always kept his eyes down the field when he's been rushed out of the pocket and scrambling to try and find something big.
Extra point was good. There was a flag down. 77 yards for Max Dowling. I think it's a false start. Let's see.
illegal formation. Receiving team. Penalty is declined. Conversion is good.
20-17 UMass. On 3rd down and 11, they go 77 yards. The kid to his tight end, Max Dowling. A little something in the Amherst air on a Saturday afternoon. If I just scored a 77-yard touchdown, I'd be watching it again, too. Max Dowling, 21-17 UMass. They battle back after Buffalo took their first lead of the second half. Marcus Lyda kick. Lamar Sperling to return. Terrence Shelton back there as well. Kick is high and short, fair catch. At the 20-yard line. All right, you've been talking tight ends all day. Let's sit back and enjoy this one.
Well, one of the things that players are taught to do is when your quarterback's in turmoil, find a way to get open. And what you watch what Dowling does, he finds a way to get open. He sees his quarterback in turmoil, so what he does is he goes for the block, and then he's on his short route. Now, he sees his quarterback in turmoil, so what do? Find an open spot. Get your hand up. Let your quarterback know you're there. Now, squeeze the football, and then watch the big fella. He gets past the defender, and then he's, in the words of Chris Berman, rumbling, stumbling, bumbling down the sideline, and he gets in for the 77-yard touchdown. But I love the way that he continued to make himself a target for his quarterback when he was in turmoil.
Flag down on this, incomplete. They went double move on the outside for Josiah Gaithings, and he got held at the break point.
And that should not happen when you've got bracket coverage. You've got underneath and over the top. So you should not have to grab the receiver. There's just some mental errors that are being made. They're
Pass
right
interference.
there.
Defense, number 1, 15-yard penalty. First down.
That was Malcolm Green, the corner, who had the safety help.
You've got to trust your coverage. You've got to trust your You're going to do your 111th, and your teammate's going to do his 111th. You've got to trust that. You've got to know your safety's going to be there over the top.
5.5 to go in the third quarter. From the 40. Give to L.J. Henderson. This is a burst with space, and he runs through Tyler Martin for 6 yards.
And there's that 6 to 7 yard gain that Coach Limbo and his staff talked about, but they still want to see more of a 10 to 12, 15, 20 yard possibility for L.J. Henderson.
Play fake. Roberson pulled it, flips it, incomplete. Had nothing there. UMass sideline wanted grounding. Third down.
And a good job by Tim Grant Randall to get pressure on the quarterback. Can they get a stop? This is a big third down for UMass in this defense.
They threw the flag. L.J. Henderson was in the neighborhood. He wanted it bad.
And I think it's a good call.
Intentional grounding. Offense, number 2. Loss of down at the spot of the foul. Third down.
The key to this penalty is the loss of down. So now you've got 3rd and long. But let's see right here. Is L.J. Henderson in the area? No. That is a good call right there. L.J. Henderson is in the middle of the formation, looking down the middle of the field. There was never any design for him to get that football.
Would have been 3rd and 3. Now it's 3rd and 11 for the 7th-year quarterback, Taquan Roberson. Steps up, deep shot down the right side, incomplete. He had a man open. Josiah Gathings could not bring it in. 3 and done.
And that was where he needed to go at the football. They brought the corner blitz on that play, and the receiver got behind the safety right there. The safety got lost, but a good job by Roberson knowing where to go at the football. He just put a little bit too much air on it, but he knew where to go because the corner blitz came from that side of the field.
The kind of throw he has not missed a lot this year. Punt, Kenyon Massey on the return. Split 2, Kenyon Massey for 5 yards, and the punt of 40+ from Dylan Drennan. UMass has done enough to take leads in this game. They've extended the lead one time. A chance to do it again with 4:48 to go in the third.
And this is a big drive for UMass, and we talked about it in the last 4 games, scoreless in the second half. So they've broken through that jinx. Now they've got to feel good about their ability to move the football and score the football. They've made big plays when they've needed to make them. Now, can they get a sustained drive? Use some clock. Put more pressure on this Buffalo team.
The redshirt freshman, A.J. Hairston, the quarterback. Play fake. A.J. Hairston, eyes downfield, pressure, and flipped it out to the outside. Nobody there. Jax Markovich was on the edge, and I think that was enough. No, it wasn't. They just threw another flag. It's going to be another grounding after deliberation. Hairston says his tight end's here. Now they're going to talk about it.
Well, it looks like if the tight end puts his hands up, he may be able to grab the football. He can just say he threw it over his head, but he's right there.
AJ off screen here, still pointing at the tight end he was throwing at. I think we're about to know
there
that
is
they
no
picked
foul
it up.
for intentional grounding. Number 86 was in the area.
Yes, he was right there.
Down.
He just threw it over his head a little bit, but you know, watch 86.
Right at the end of the line on the left side. There he is.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they got away with one right there. They got, because he never turned around. If he turned around and maybe is looking for the football. But he's in pass protection. That's what Coach Limbo is talking about. He never turned around as if the pass potentially could have been to him. And then you have to question, is he's an eligible receiver at that point?
Well, it's stark because, what, 5 real minutes ago, Buffalo was called for essentially the same call.
Yes.
Marcel Kerr, the referee. The world waits.
After further discussion, number 86 was not in the area of the pass when it felt incomplete. Therefore, we have intentional grounding, offense, number 8, loss of down at the spot or foul, 2nd down.
I've heard after further review, I've never heard after further discussion.
Yes. Well, you look right here, look at 86. He's in slide protection. He's sliding down, he's blocking, he's blocking, he's blocking. He was never, ever going to be in the route. There was never a route designed for him on that play.
So 2nd and 17. Hairston get it out quick, caught on the outside. Donnie Gray has his first catch. And that penalty tangentially leads us here to 3rd down and 15. Buffalo hasn't brought a lot of pressure in these spots.
Well, they're only rushing 3. They're dropping 7 and 8 back into coverage. Sometimes they'll bring 4 and drop 7.
Coming. A.J. Hairston in the pocket, down the middle. It is caught! Donnie Gray, back-to-back catches. Flag down behind the play.
And you should be able to block 4 with 5.
Holding, offense, number 55. 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
The center, Benjamin Roy, called for his 5th penalty of the year.
And from an offensive line coach perspective, that is unacceptable. You've got 5. You should be able to block 4. Now watch the center right here. He's engaged. And then what he does, he brings the defender down, pulls him down. You can't get your hands on the back of the defender's jersey.
He was against the strongest player on the Buffalo roster, Marlon White, and needed all that just to bring him down. 3rd and 15 again. A.J. Hairston, flush to his right, still looking, flips it down the middle, incomplete. Boy, he hits Brandon Hood in the numbers. He might have run for the 1st down.
Yes, he would have. And all you have to do is take a little bit off that ball. You want to lead Hood into that catch. There was no defenders coming toward Hood, so you had the opportunity to lead him into that and allow him to plan and get north and south. And you're looking at the coaching staff right now talking to Hood, and they're probably telling Hood he could have taken a better angle looking at how the quarterback is running outside of the pocket. Coachable moment right there.
So punt after all that. Keegan Andrews got it away. Victor Snow's the return man. Way up there, good hang time. And Efair catches it with 3:35 to go in the 3rd. Hey, we got a little anniversary here. I think it's a Forrest Connolly anniversary. You know, 35 very short years ago, we had an All-American that's sitting in this booth with us that I believe they called the Berlin Wall at Berlin High School in the state of Connecticut, not far. And I know as you went on to Florida State, a national champion in 1993, you look good there.
Old school, baby, old
I know
school.
It's fun for you to be back at home in the general vicinity of where you grew up.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's wonderful to be back. The seasons change. You actually get to see the leaves change. Beautiful scene set right here at this beautiful stadium that we are.
L.J. Henderson on the carry. He keeps working his way through for a gain of 3. Is Berlin Wall the greatest nickname of all time? I won't accept any other.
Absolutely.
That's
it definitely
unbelievable.
Is. I know I'm a little biased, but yes, it is. It's the greatest of all time.
Do you remember the first time somebody called you that or said that?
Yes. Well, it was a surprise when I moved up here and went to high school, and when I initially went to sign up for football, the coach didn't believe me. He wouldn't let me come in because I was a 15-year-old, 6'6", 314-pound kid, and he's like, okay, somebody's playing a joke. And the first game that we played, in my first game, I made a big play on defense, and when they put me at offensive tackle, nobody could get by me. And so, the name just kind of stuck, and it, I rode with it, man. And I think the great Bob Mayer gave me that nickname.
That'll play. Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here. Alongside
Absolutely.
Forrest Connolly, Cooper Boardman. Huge 3rd down now for Buffalo. 3rd down and 2 in UMass territory. Taquan Roberson and L.J. Henderson in the backfield.
And look at the cushion once again given to the inside receivers at the bottom of your screen.
Checked at the line to this. 3rd and 2. Handed off. Henderson forward fighting. 1st down.
how important do you think this drive is, Cooper? I think this is an extreme. I know we've got another quarter to play, but I just feel like this drive right here is an extremely important drive for both ball clubs.
Roberson stumbling, gets out of the pocket, throws off his back foot, incomplete. Well, especially for Buffalo, where when you go to the Eastern Michigan game, you go back to some of these games over the last few weeks, in moments like this, when they've needed it, they've scored.
But you're playing against a team right now that has nothing to lose, everything to gain. A team that feels like they are in a game that they can really win. A team that's had big play after big play after big play. A team that scored in the second half for the first time in the last 5 football games.
2nd and 10, play action, looking deep, they were locked up, so he'll run. Roberson diving for the first down. His 3rd carry picks it up.
And that was a huge play. They had everything covered up on the back end of the defense. Roberson on 2nd and 10 did a good job of seeing that the defense had their backs to him in man coverage, and he's able to get down the field, get the first down, and get down and avoid contact.
Buffalo's made the concerted effort in this second half to run the football. Remember, Roberson's coming off an ankle injury. Yeah, he had the bye week. It's still not perfect. Picked a moment there and gets them the first down. Now he'll throw. Time in the pocket. Deep ball towards the end zone. Caught. Incomplete. Victor Snow couldn't get the toe down.
And he was wide open. How does Victor Snow get that open? The one guy that you should have covered up with 2 defenders is wide open. And it's interesting. This was really, really close. Closer than I think people think.
Oh.
No.
Didn't have control.
Didn't have control of the football. His last foot down is right here.
It doesn't matter. L.J. Henderson, pickup of 5.
And it's interesting that Buffalo chose to go tempo on that play. I thought maybe they would have given another opportunity for the officials to take an extra look at that. Interesting that they went tempo.
It was definitely not a replay you look at and just immediately move on from.
Yeah.
3rd down and 5. They've already converted twice on 3rd of the drive. Roberson throwing down the middle, incomplete. Jeremiah McGill shut down the middle.
And they did something on that play they haven't done in this game for a while. They played man, but they got up and pressed man, and they didn't allow free releases. A good job by the defense right there. And that's how you attack the football right there on the backside of that defense. A good job by Jeremiah McGill.
Jack Howes hit his first 50-yarder of his career last week to send him to overtime. This is from 47. Jack Howes on the way. Doinked it. Throw! Another twist in the Maction tale today.
And I mean, he got off his foot good, and you see it fading to the right, and it hits right inside of the upright. Wow. And that would have been good from 60. I mean, you see how high that ball was. What a leg.
Maryland transfer Jack Howes, who sat behind Chad Ryland, who's now the Cardinals kicker, learned from him for 4 years in Maryland, came here because of the Pete Lembo and the special teams group that they have led the MAC in for the last couple of years. And he makes it a 1-point game.
And I would not be surprised if we see Mr. House's name on somebody's NFL roster in the very near future.
He's kicking here to Keziah Dia-Johnson. And still not a return against Mr. Howes here today. We talked to Joe Harris-Simiak a couple of weeks ago going into the Western Michigan game. So, what's a win for you beyond obviously winning the game? He said, I want to be in it in the fourth quarter. They were on that day. It was a win. But that was 2 weeks ago, and 2 weeks later, you see this slow growth, and particularly from the man wearing 8.
Well, it's about culture and building character. And this is one of those character moments for this ball club. Can they get the job done? Can they close it out in the fourth quarter?
Handoff, Brandon Hood. He gets 3 yards. Red Murdoch leading the charge on the tackle. And that's the last play of the third quarter. UMass, for the first time against an FBS opponent this year, led at the half. And for the first time this year, A.J. Hairston and the Massachusetts Minutemen are going to hold up 4s with a lead. 21-20 ball game. Back 4th. We got a 1-point game and 15 on the clock. Redshirt freshman A.J. Hairston has made enough plays today for this team.
Well, he's shown escapability. He's shown recognition, when to run, when to take what the defense gives him, and he keeps his eyes down the field when he's scrambling outside of the pocket. Doing a good job of putting air under the football here. One of the bigger plays, getting the ball to his big tight end, Dowling on the outside, the big fella getting down the field, getting to the end zone for the 77-yard touchdown. I love what I'm seeing from this young guy, and you see the excitement, making the big play, talking his talk a little bit to the defense.
That's swag, right? And Joe Harris-Simiak talked about that with us. We need guys like that who are not afraid, who want to hit somebody He's done it. 2nd down and 5. 1 point lead. Gave it off to Hood, who made a long run to the outside. He escaped Murdoch, but not the sideline. And here we are again. Forrest, 3rd down for UMass.
And I think, again, this is where you revisit the tight end. I like sprinting A.J. Hairston outside the pocket, giving more time for him to look down the field. They're bringing forward or dropping 7 back into coverage. There's an opportunity to find someone underneath, get to the big fellas. You've got the matchup that you want, the more desirable matchup with your big tight end. Use them.
He's in the slot on the bottom of the formation on 3rd down. Back him up. Pressure's there. Off his back foot. Deep shot. No one's there. A.J. Hairston had 1 second to think, and Buffalo got there.
Too much immediate pressure on the quarterback. No time to decipher what the defense was giving him. I mean, there's immediate pressure right there. As soon as he drops back, the offensive line has to do a better job of deciphering where the pressure's coming from. And you have to look, I think you go slide protection. That way you're blocking an area as opposed to a man. With what you're seeing from the defense and all of the stunts and the different defensive formations that they're showing, you go at slide protection from an offensive line standpoint to allow you to be able to block that up and give Hairston the time he needs.
They also threw a flag for grounding, and now they're going to throw another flag. Everybody's pointing at each other.
Offside. Defense. Number 17. Into the neutral zone, causing a reaction by the player on the kicking team. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Goes from 4th and 16 to 4th and 11. You know you're a special teams guru kind of team when you have a different punt unit entirely between 4th and 16 and 4th and 11. Yeah, there is the guru, Pete Lembo. Keegan Andrews to punt. Victor Snow in the game-breaking speed, standing back there and waiting. Done a good job of kicking away from him today. And it's a big boot for Snow, who goes with the fair catch. Flag down as well again for the 3rd straight play.
During the kick, holding. Receiving team, number 1. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. 1st down. Timeout. Media.
So the yardage UMass gave up on the grounding, Buffalo gives right back. Buffalo has a chance to take the lead in the 4th quarter when we return.
Introducing SportsCenter for you, personalized every single day. Now available on the ESPN app. Powered by your favorites.
Fourth quarter, 14-14 to go. Buffalo football down by 1 on the road in Amherst. Taquan Roberson, the 7th-year quarterback, guy who waited 6 years to be a starter somewhere, got his chance. A kid who once played a high school game on a literal broken ankle is here with the ball and a chance to take the lead. Hands off. L.J. Henderson twisting forward. And it's been the story of the day. Forrest Connolly, nothing on the ground again, thanks to the UMass defense.
Well, that's manageable. You've got 3.5 yards on that, so you put yourselves in a position to open up the playbook a little bit more on second down. UMass has done a good job earlier in the game holding him to maybe 2 to 3 yards. So if you're Buffalo, you're trying to find any positive you can with that rushing attack. We know, passing the ball, they've been extremely effective. He's approaching 300 yards passing, Roberson, but they want to get something going to offset that with that rush game.
He'll throw, looking for 300. He's got it. Nick McMillan down the outside. Pickup of 8, first down Buffalo.
And they've gone back to giving up that cushion on the outside. I'm anxious to see if they make an adjustment and jump one of these quick routes, because Roberson is extremely comfortable just throwing that quick route with the cushion that he's seeing.
9th catch for McMillan. He's over 100 yards. Another throw, another look. He jumped around. It was knocked away. You asked for it. Zeron Daniel was there. He couldn't hold on.
It was right there for him. Touchdown. And once again, Roberson is so comfortable. See, he's eyeballing it, and he jumped it. He's right there. I've been waiting for it. It's been set up all afternoon. But you've got to make that play. That's 6 right there.
But now they've shown that they're at least aware.
Absolutely, and now it makes Roberson think. He won't be as apt to throw that pass, as comfortable as he's been all afternoon.
Showing pressure, blitz off the edge, and Henderson beat 1 but not 2. Donovan Dyson, the backup linebacker, makes the tackle.
And that is a huge play, because if you look, that's where they brought the blitz pressure. There's no other defender on the outside if he doesn't make that tackle. The running back is still running if he doesn't make that tackle on that play. Watch, you see the defender flash right there. Now look, there's nobody else out there. If he doesn't make that tackle, he's still running.
Instead, 3rd down and 8. Straight drop, Roberson down the middle. It is caught. Evan King, strong hands.
And he has made some big catches this afternoon. He's doing a really good job of getting his body in between the defender and the football. Watch how he uses his body almost like a basketball player to block him out, to squeeze his football.
Henderson again, twisted down. Marcus White, their leading man. Boy, you go back to King there a second ago. This kid had 3 catches in his career when he woke up this morning. He's got 4 today on that.
You see how he boxes out the defender right there where only he can make a play on the football. He uses his big body very well, right? Look at that, boxing him out. Boom. The defender has to fight around him, and he can't get around his body to try and make a play. McGill did everything he could on that play.
Deep shot down the right side. He's got a man. He's got Gaithings. Slips a tackle. Josiah Gaithings. Touchdown. But a flag down. Josiah doesn't know it yet. And now he does.
Holding. Offense, number 79. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Trevor Brock.
Their best offensive player, offensive lineman, Trevor Brock, the right tackle. And how demoralizing to a receiver when you make a big play. But watch the right tackle right here. He's got his setup good, but you've got outside hands. You've got to keep your hands inside the breastplate right there. So he grabs the defender, pulls him down, lays on top of him. There's several different ways that you can call holding on this play. Not something you expect to see from the fifth-year senior. Got to do a good job. You've got a hand fight. You've got to box. You've got to punch. You can't grab and pull.
55-yard go-ahead touchdown for Buffalo. Wiped from the face of the earth. Second down at 21. Pass catching back. Lamar Sperling's in. Through to the outside. That time Gaithings had nothing. Brennan Bailey in coverage. Pressure from Marcus White. Third and forever.
And if you look at the next play, Trevor Brock got beat again. He overset to the outside, and the defender came back underneath him and got immediate pressure on Roberson. I wonder right now, is Brock tired? Watch Brock. See, overset, boom. Gets beat to the inside right there, immediate pressure, which did not allow Roberson the time to get his feet set on that throw. Is Brock tired? Is his ankle bothering him? Remember, he got hurt earlier in the football game.
Third and 21. Roberson's got to escape again. Along the line of scrimmage, he waits, he steps up, he throws, knocked away! Brennan Bailey, the backup, and UMass gets the stop. Flag down. I think he was over the line of scrimmage when he threw it.
And a good job by the UMass defense to get pressure, flush him outside the pocket, continue to chase him, not give him time. He's trying to look down the field. And I think, like you said, Cooper, he may have gotten over the line of scrimmage. Illegal forward pass. We'll see what call the officials make.
Marcel Kerr. Nope.
There is no foul for an ineligible receiver downfield. Illegal forward pass. Offense, number 2. 5-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Loss of down. 4th down.
If any part of his body's behind the line of scrimmage, it counts, but he was fully over. I think he might have gone over it back and over again. You can see it here. It doesn't matter, they knocked it down. But watch that 3 at the bottom of your screen as he comes out here.
And that's because of good coverage on the back end of that defense. Yes, he's past the line of scrimmage.
Buffalo's going to punt. 11-10 to go. 1-point UMass lead. Dylan Drennan to Kenyon Massey. Just got it away. And it takes a hop. Buffalo touches this up inside the 25-yard line. Punt of 55 yards. UMass by 1. 11 to go. watching the MAC on ESPN. They were out early under that foliage tailgating here in Amherst. They have come in. They have watched Brandon Hood run for 161 yards on Buffalo.
Well, this has been his coming out party. The coaching staff have been waiting on this. They talked about him having the ability, but, you know, seizing the opportunity, and he's done a good job of that, especially on this 90-yard run where he broke a couple of tackles, got into the open field, and showed the speed that everyone knew he had. He has had an outstanding afternoon. He's run so much he's cramped up at times.
In the backfield, with his team up by a point, chance to extend the lead with 11 to go in the fourth quarter. UMass has not won a game this year. Buffalo was undefeated in the MAC coming in. Give it to him. Brandon Hood. That's 2 yards, not a lot more. Miles Greer rallied to the football, helping Mullen White. This is part of it too for UMass. They haven't been in this spot. 1 point game, 10:40 to go, with a game that means as much as it does.
But this is when you have to be able to lean on your offensive line, especially when you've got a senior-laden offensive line like they do. 2 graduates, 2 fifth-year seniors, a junior. You've got to be able to depend on those guys to give you opportunities to get the ball up the field, running the ball very effectively, knocking guys off the football. You know, remind those guys of all those sled days that you have out there, hitting the sled, driving that sled. That is what you do it for opportunities like this.
UMass player down after that last run. They keep running behind that offensive line. That is Kyle Brown, the right guard. That's a spot where they lost Mal Glynn for the season last week. You say it, you want to salt this game in so many ways, and there's a lot of time to salt anything, but you want to run the football. This is an offensive line that is more depleted than it's been all season. It just got more.
You see number 63 right there, and he gets rolled up. Once again, one of the ways as an offensive lineman you avoid getting rolled up, you've got to try and sit down in your hips. You can't avoid it. It happens from behind, but the way that you can decrease the opportunity of injury is sitting down in your hips, playing low. You know, he was pretty low on that play, so I don't think it's as bad as it could have been. Once again, you see your guys getting up and able to walk off and actually jog off, but the way that you prevent serious injury is sitting down in your hips, playing with the low base and driving forward and keeping your feet moving, so when you do get rolled up, you can, you know, kind of high step up out of there. Now, I love what he just did. That right there is exactly what you do when your replacement comes in. You grab him and you shake him up and you let him know what your expectation is of him going into this big-time football game. I need you to come in here with the identity of hitting somebody in the mouth. I love what I just saw right there.
Shook up Brock Taylor, redshirt freshman, on the right side of the line at the guard spot ahead of this, a 3rd down and 5. Dia Johnson in motion, fake it to him. Hairston rolling to his left. He tucks it. Hairston one-on-one, ran through but not there. Open field tackle from Solomon Brown and Marquise Cooper in the area. 4th down.
An excellent pursuit on the outside. And you see right there, Brown does a good job of staying on top of the receiver, not giving him the pass that he wanted to, because what he wanted to do is go to McConaughey on that play initially, number 7. He didn't have it because Brown stayed on top of him, and then Brown pressed up and made the tackle.
And they're going to go for it, or at least line up. 4th down and 1 in the 4th quarter.
I love it.
They go for it. Hand it off up the middle. Hood got hit. Pushing forward. Hood goes down.
I think he rolled around and was able to get the 1st down. He kept his feet moving. The official on this side nearest us looks like he's marking that to be a 1st down.
No signal yet. Deion Crawford made this stop. 1st down, they signal. Here it is.
Watch the initial hit. Boom, he stopped right here, but you see him roll. This is why you got to keep your feet moving and fall forward. Running backs are always taught to fall forward. Good job by Hood keeping his feet moving, and I like the tempo. Keep going.
Yeah, I was wondering when that was going to happen.
is the runner made the line to gain. That play is under further review.
Now, my question is there enough to overturn this because it was called a first down on the field?
I have a feeling we're about to find out together. Pete Lembo asking for all sorts of explanations. Joe Harris-Simiak goes for it. His team's 0-6. They haven't been in a game like this. He got fourth down, half a yard. He figures, well, we're going to go.
Think about this. You ask so much of your team, and they get to this point. This team has fought, clawed, and scratched to get to this point. But watch here. He's stopped initially. But watch how he rolls out of this. And you see where he falls forward? I don't think there's enough evidence to overturn this. Once again, it's called a first down on the field. That's key right there, that it's called a first down.
The line to gain is smack dab on the 34-yard line. So it's that second to last hash mark before the line. There's a whole lot of humanity in there. They can match these up. So you see him there, hit initially, and look at, he just keeps fighting.
Like I say, there's not enough that I see that you can overturn it.
Here comes the call.
After further review, the ruling on the field is upheld. First down.
Joe Harris-Simiak said, look, our quarterback needs to play better. We got to run the ball a little bit better, all that. We need to break some tackles. They put that guy in because he broke the most tackles of the healthy guys they had available, and he just broke the biggest tackle of their season.
Absolutely, and extended this drive.
First and 10. Might as well go back to it. Brandon Hood running with some fury into Mitchell Gonzer for 5 yards.
And I like the fact they're running behind the right side of that offensive line. The big fella that came in, Brock Taylor, to replace Kyle Brown, doing a good job of blocking at the point of attack.
Tempo back to Hood, steps outside, goes forward. That's 3 plays in a row where he's gotten 3 more yards than he should have.
And I like that they're leaning on this offensive line.
Third down and 2. Got a 2 tight end set. Got that offensive line ready to go.
You got to think this is 2 down territory once again.
Another for Brandon Hood. Gets outside, spies the first down, and slides down. First down.
I do not like the slide on this play. He was extremely close to not getting the first down. You got to fall forward, man. This is not the up time to, you still had 4 or 5 yards you could get and still stay in bounds and keep the clock running.
Also, the rule is where you start your slide. Back to Hood, not sliding this time.
I'm sure the coaching staff had something to say to him on that play. I didn't understand that.
He's been down injured a couple of times. The only thing you can guess is that maybe he's thinking about that calf and just self-preservation. But your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, that was a very interesting play right there.
Keep moving. Hand it off. Brandon Hood once again. That time fighting hard through Red Murdoch, and then all of Buffalo arrived.
And he needs to be careful. We haven't talked a lot about it, but Red Murdoch is teetering on breaking the forced fumble record, and this is an opportunity for him. So you've got to watch, especially on plays like this where you've got a bunch of defenders in there. You see right there, Red Murdoch tugging at the football right there. You've got to be careful, high and tight, holding that football.
Third down and 4. All they do is run right now. Out of the pistol, play fake. Hairston evades one. Hairston pushing forward by Murdoch. He spins. I think he got there.
Absolutely. Great job by Hairston, knowing where the sticks are, taking advantage of the opportunity, not waiting. He saw the opportunity early. He made the decision to run early on this play, breaking 2 tackles, 3 tackles, and falling forward, knowing where the sticks are.
He's the starter because of his heart and his grit. He had an All-American waiting for him between him and the first down, and he got it.
And if you're UMass, all you're thinking about is continuing to milk the clock, drive the ball, run the football effectively.
That time 1 yard. That was, Forrest, the 11th straight UMass run.
Now, one of the things I think they should be doing is allowing the clock to run. You know, tempo is okay, but let the clock run.
Down towards 5 minutes to go. Demarion Alberic's in the game. 11 straight runs. The box is full. Play fake once again. Hairston in the pocket, pressured off his back foot to the heavens. Incomplete, flag down to the secondary. I think Jake McConaughey was working on the nickel. Savion Brown.
Holding. Defense, number 9, 10-yard penalty. First down.
Keontez Bradley.
And that's all because of all of the run plays and the success running the football. You've got safeties and you've got defensive backs looking in the backfield, not expecting to play action. A good job with the play calling by the UMass coaching staff to catch those guys thinking it's a run once again. Now you've got another first down. To me, run the clock. Run the football. Let the clock run.
Brandon Hood got a blow. Now he's back in. Give it to him. Up the middle. Half a yard. Here's the penalty. Bottom of your screen, 9.
You see right there, he grabs the receiver, holding him all the way down the field. Then he pulls his shoulder pad, and this is all after 5 yards.
You can see Brandon Hood right now. By the way, we're talking about why did he slide. He's limping off the field right now as Elijah Faulkner comes on. This is their speed back, Faulkner, their big hitter. On 2nd down and 10, the clock nearing 4 minutes. They give it to Faulkner on the outside. Red Murdoch right there. 3rd down. And for all the length of this drive and the time that it's taken and the control UMass has had at 3:45 and ticking down, this is a 52-yard field goal where the ball is right now.
And if I'm UMass, I'm running the football. Take your time. Even if you let the clock run all the way down and call a timeout, use all of the time.
A drive that began with 10:58 left on the clock in the 4th quarter is at 3rd and 11 for Hairston. Play fake. A.J. Hairston run the screen. He threw it incomplete for Max Dowling.
And I don't like that play because you stop the clock. You've got to run the football. Run the football. Run the football. You didn't make them use any timeouts.
They're going to run their kicker out of the field. You also saw Kyle Brown come on late. Kyle Brown, who was injured, just kind of limped his way on late. This is a 54-yard attempt. A career long for Derek Morris to give UMass the lead. Derek Morris on the way, no good. Buffalo holds, 3:06 to go. Buffalo ball, a drive to keep the MAC perfect streak alive. The University of Massachusetts Minutemen are trying to win a game at home against an FBS team for the first time in 4 years, trying to snap a 10-game losing streak against Buffalo, who at 2-0 in the MAC was in the driver's seat to get to Detroit. They have 3:06 and a drive perhaps to take the lead and keep the season rolling.
And, you know, Cooper, we talked about it off air. I'm still baffled at that third down call.
Roberson underneath, Henderson the catch. He falls forward 7 yards.
You've got an opportunity to run more clock or either force Buffalo to start using their timeouts and you throw the football. I just don't understand that call.
Led to a UMass field goal attempt to extend the lead. Derek Morris missed it, 1-point game.
A career-long 54-yard attempt.
And now here we are again, another tight one for Buffalo. Roberson looked deep, flush left, hit, throws, tipped, incomplete. Patrick Clax couldn't reel it in. Darion Craig, one of the senior leaders on this group, made the stop.
And I'm kind of wondering, why did Craig turn his body? You know, he had an opportunity right here. They've got pressure on Roberson. He's throwing off his back foot. Don't turn your body. Just squeeze the football.
Third down and 3.
And I don't like the cushion on the bottom of the screen. Get up on those receivers. Play press man. Bump them off the line. Don't give a free release. Don't bail at the snap of the football.
Did they get a timeout? Did the play clock expire?
Delay game offense, number 52. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
You've got 3 timeouts. You've got to use them. You've got to have clock awareness. Roberson has to be able to identify and look at the play clock. The coaching staff, they've got to be able to identify and be aware of what's going on. You cannot have a delay of game on 3rd and 5. I don't like the cushion down at the bottom of the screen.
3rd and 8. Taquan Roberson in the pocket, steps up, he's spun down. Marcus White got there.
And an excellent job by the defensive line, getting pressure, getting up the field. This is what you ask for. You see right there, he beats the offensive tackle. He's able to disengage from Henry Tembanzi on the outside. He's engaged and then he's able to get back under him. Tembanzi, you've got to sit down in your stance. You've got to punch. You've got to fight with that inside force. You've got to punch with that inside hand. You cannot give up that outside shoulder. He gave up leverage on that play. Now the emotion starts. 4th down. Can UMass do it? Can they get the stop? Can they get the first win of the season in MAC play? We'll be right back.
as loud as this building has been in a long time for 4th down. Not the game, but close. 4th and 10 for Buffalo from their own 35-yard line. Taquan Roberson, the quarterback. Victor Snow in motion. He'll throw. Taquan Roberson looking down the middle. Throw is reeled in. Nick McMillan. It slipped the grasp of Cameron Watkins-Hunter. He converts.
And UMass decided to bring pressure on that play. They played man coverage on the back end. I thought maybe they would leave some zone coverage on the backside, keep everything in front of them, keep eyes on the football, but they decided to bring pressure on that play, and a good job by Roberson hanging in the pocket, waiting until the last minute to allow his receiver to get into the break and delivering a strike down the seam of the field to get that first down, converting the biggest 4th down of this football game.
That was Jake Tim down behind the play. Off we go. He comes off, backup center in the game right now. That's James Carrington. Roberson out of there, pressure, throws it high. And incomplete, flag down. I think they got a hold in the pocket.
And it also looks like intentional grounding. I mean, there's no one near where he threw the football. He's not outside the tackle box. To me, you could have 2 penalties on that play. I wonder if they're discussing that right now. Because if it's intentional grounding, you lose a down. Huge call right here by the officials.
Either way, Buffalo's going to have their 10th penalty of the day for a team that had not been penalized much all year. There's that grounding flag.
And that's the big one because it's a loss of down.
Multiple fouls occurred on the play. Holding, offense, number 5. That penalty is declined. Intentional grounding, offense, number 2. Loss of down at the spot of the foul, 2nd down.
So what's interesting about that play, and I talked about it, 2 different penalties. You want to take the intentional grounding because now you lose a down. Watch, he's not outside the tackle box, and he just throws the football to get it out of his hands because they had holding and they had immediate pressure on him. But also, you're thinking about field goal range. They've got a field goal kicker that can kick the ball extremely far. So you want to continue to push that ball back. So push it back, and the loss of down now puts more pressure on this offense. They weren't playing to score a touchdown. They're playing to get in field goal range. So getting the penalty, the loss of down, and pushing the ball back all works in UMass's favor.
Still trying to adjudicate exactly where it is. Should be right around 2nd and 20. This fan base waiting for this.
A 10-second subtraction. So game clock operator, please set the game clock to 1 minute and 30 seconds. The game clock will start on my ready for play whistle.
Buffalo could use one of their timeouts to not take the 10-second runoff. Instead, they'll keep that. 1:30 to go, 2nd down and 21. 7th-year quarterback Taquan Roberson. Down the middle, he's got Patrick Clax. He gets ahead, he's dumped. Right across the 50, it brings up 3rd down and 9.
And of course, if you're UMass, you want to keep everything in front of you, but you've got to get a stop here. You don't want to give up any more yards.
Pressure, deep ball down the right side, it's in the air, and it's intercepted! Jeremiah McGill waves bye-bye!
yards with that defensive line and the pressure that they got on Roberson. He just tried to throw it away. It was the same play that he made earlier where they got the intentional grounding. They got immediate pressure, and he just chunks the ball away trying to get rid of it. Bad play, bad decision by Roberson. I think we're going to get an excessive celebration.
Defense, number 0, his first of the game. Half the distance to the goal line. 1st and 10, UMass.
Now, they have to realize the game is not over. The game is not over. They've got 3 timeouts. We see right here, once again, he just chunks the ball to try and get rid of it. Great pressure by the defensive line. Good job by the defense on the back end to track that football by Jeremiah McGill.
Well, again, he's waving at all this. Buffalo has 3 timeouts with 59 seconds to go. So UMass is 1 first down away from icing this ball game. But you're right, it's not over.
And they're deep in their own territory. Squeeze the ball.
A.J. Hairston and Brandon Hood out there. Hairston, QB draw. He just goes forward into the line. And now Buffalo will use that first timeout with 53 seconds to go. First home win since 2021 at stake for the Minutemen. They've lost 17 straight games to FBS opponents. Trying to beat an FBS team for the first time since October of 2023 against Army, and try to get their first win in the MAC. And oh, by the way, get Joe Harris-Simiak's first win as the head coach at UMass. He challenged this team all week. He was in a press conference that every Minutemen fan has seen, where he looked the camera basically in the eye last week after they lost by 35 points and said, "This is an embarrassment for us." He apologized to the program. He apologized to the players before it. He apologized to the fans. And here he is 54 seconds away with still some steps to take.
And if you're the offensive coaching staff, you're telling your ball carriers high and tight. Remember, you've got Red Murdoch out there, and he's an expert at stripping the football.
Hood goes straight down. 50 seconds.
Now, what's scary about this is I need for UMass to be trying to get positive yards, not try to make them use their timeouts. You cannot forget, you've got an excellent field goal kicker on the other side of the field, and you've got a punt block team from Buffalo that specializes in special teams. They were very close to one earlier. They blocked one earlier that was called back because of penalty. And you're putting your punter in a bad position right now with the back of his heels on the end line when you're not trying to get positive yards. I understand staying in bounds, but you're in the middle of the field. Try and get positive yards. A first down would ice it.
Well, especially here, right now with the ball at the 5, your punter can be at basically around his normal depth. You lose 1 yard, that's no longer true.
Yes. And now you're putting it all on your punter. And you've also got to remember, you've got a guy named Snow back there to return the punt.
Juwan Price, the running back. They're going to throw A.J. Hairston to the outside. Incomplete. He almost threw it to Jalen McNair.
Okay. I'm sorry. This is the second time on 3rd down that they've thrown the football when you are supposed to run the ball. Make the other team use their timeouts. If they run the ball on the previous drive, they don't have 3 timeouts to use this drive. If they run the ball on this drive, they don't get the ball back with a timeout. Now you've allowed this offense to be able to go in the middle of the field if they want to on this last drive.
With a timeout left.
Because they've got a timeout, they can throw the ball in the middle of the field. You've opened up this entire offense now. I'm not understanding.
Timeout UMass, 47 seconds to go.
I'm sorry, I'm just not understanding the decision making right now.
Well, and they run it twice, basically giving themselves up and then throw it on 3rd down.
I'm not understanding that. You've got a running back that's giving you everything that he's had. He's spent. You can see him cramping up. He's hurt. You got other running backs. Use your other running backs. You know, put a tight end in the backfield. Run jet sweep and tell those guys not to go out of bounds. Cut it up. There are other plays, other people you can use, but you've got to try and get positive yards. And now you've got a punt block team. They're going to come after this. So you've got guys that are looking to protect. And then you've got, once again, one of the most dangerous players in college football, Victor Snow. I don't understand.
See what happens. Nation's leaders in block punts, Buffalo. One of the best returners in the country back there. 1-point game, 47 seconds to go. Keegan Andrews steps up. He gets it away. Victor Snow to the right side. He fair caught it at the 49-yard line.
Well, you know why he fair caught it? Because they've got a timeout. They've got a kicker that can kick the ball 55 yards.
They found a way over these last 4 games. Twice against MAC opponents. All right, so ball for us now at the 49-yard line. You figure the target is right around the 35 for Jack Howes. He has hit from 55 in practice.
Well, when we talked to Coach Limbo, he said he's comfortable at 55. The one thing that Buffalo cannot do is give up a sack right now.
Taquan Roberson steps up, throws, looks, he's got Gaithings. He falls forward, he's at the 36.
They're in field goal range right now. And they're taking their time. They're not worried.
UMass late substituting, just got off. Roberson again, looks down the right for Gaithings again, back shoulder catch. He got it! Foot down! Inside the 15 with 26 seconds to go!
And I want to see this again, see if he got a foot down. Yes, he did. Wow.
Inside the 25, UMass was waving goodbye about 10 minutes ago. Roberson, high ball, Victor Snow in the corner, he got it! Touchdown Buffalo! Impossible!
You play man coverage. Single man on Victor Snow. The most dangerous player on the Buffalo team. I am just not understanding some of the defensive play, some of the play calling and some of the decision making right now. I'm totally baffled.
Gonna go for 2. Roberson looks right, slant route, McMillan. Got it, 2-point good, 28-21 Buffalo, 19 seconds to go, and it's like an atomic bomb has gone off in this stadium.
Well, the first thing is you cover Victor Snow, the man coverage on the outside, no safety help over the top, and he runs a corner route, and he's got 2 feet down. I mean, I don't understand the decision to cover him. I mean, well, there are so many decisions I don't understand, but you see right here, he was beat at the snap of the football. You know, they see the matchup that they want. They've got a safety, Jeremiah McGill, and he did everything that he could to cover him up, but you can't expect a safety to cover Victor Snow. That's the first thing. You know, they're looking for that matchup. Anytime they see that, they're going to go to it. But you've got a safety trying to cover Victor Snow in man coverage. You get no help over the top. You've got to bracket him. That's the first thing. Well, let's go all the way back.
Yeah.
You didn't make them use all their timeouts, so they felt very comfortable running whatever play they wanted to. If they use all their timeouts, the playbook changes for them. The play calling changes. The thinking pattern changes.
$19 seconds to go. UMass waved goodbye after the interception from Jeremiah McGill.
And remember this, they got that penalty, which is an additional 15 yards. And it all comes with learning how to win. And we talked about that.
All right, kick out of bounds. Jack Howes tried to boot it short. It took a hop away, so UMass is going to get excellent field position.
Kicking team, number 91.
Both teams have handed each other a lot of things in the last few minutes.
One of the things coaches always talk to kids about is acting like you've been there before. And you've got a team that hadn't won a football game, and they reacted the way you would think a team that hadn't won a game would react, thinking they had won the game, celebrating prematurely. So they gave up an additional 15 yards. If they don't give up that additional 15 yards, they get the ball on probably the 20, 22-yard line. And that gives them an opportunity to, if they do have to punt the ball, to get a decent punt out.
Instead, they get the ball at the 49-yard line. Buffalo in 3 plays takes the lead.
In 3 plays by Buffalo.
Here it is.
3 big plays. And it started out going in the middle of the field because they weren't scared of the time elapsing. Then they go to the sideline. Once again, another big play to Gathings. And then right here, Victor Snow, the big play receiver, man coverage on the safety. The matchup Gabe looked at and took advantage of all afternoon.
UMass probably needs to be within the vicinity of the 35 to 40-yard line on the Buffalo side to have a kick here. But they have no chance. Down by 7. A.J. Hairston steps up, needs it, gets it away, incomplete. They need 7.
And that's not what you need if you're Hairston. You've got to know this. You've got to get the ball vertically down the field to put yourselves in a position to try and go for a Hail Mary. So you want to get the ball to maybe the 40, 45-yard line. You know, you've got to get the ball down the field. You've got a timeout. Recognition, once again. You've got 2 timeouts. You've got the opportunity to throw the ball in the middle of the field.
14 seconds. And those 2 timeouts. Hairston, pass rush after him. Flush to his right, steps up. Hairston. Incomplete in the general direction of Max Dowling.
And what I'm not understanding right now is you don't have any routes with receivers going vertically. You've got one receiver in the middle of the field, but he's only about 10 yards down the field, Kenyon Massey. You've got to get vertical routes right now to try to get the ball down the field, to position yourself to go for the end zone on a Hail Mary.
3rd down, 5 seconds. Could be the last play. Hairston wrapped up, spins away. It is the last play. Buffalo storms in and pulls one out of nowhere. They are 3-0 in MAC play against every odd imaginable.
And I feel so bad for these kids from UMass because they played a heck of a football game. They did everything you could ask for from your team to win a football game. Defensively, offensively, there were just some decisions that, you know, were made that I don't quite understand, and it's come back to haunt them. It looks like they may put a second back on the clock. Well, no, the game is over. It's officially over. And a great win for Buffalo. Don't get me wrong. Awesome win for Buffalo. But I'm just still baffled by some of the decisions that were made by the UMass staff.
Pete Lembo's face says the world right there.
He knows they got away with one right this afternoon.
UMass, for a moment, felt like what it was like to win this game. And
Wow.
Buffalo actually won it.
Wow.
They're 3-0.
This is one of those wild games where the coaching staff from UMass will go back and look at this. And, you know, we talked about the coaching staff apologizing to the media, to the fans. I think they are going to have to apologize to the team for this one.
You could live 1,000 lives and maybe not see a game quite like that. Buffalo finds a way late. And, well, let's find out if Pete Lembo's seen a game like that, Coach.
Guys, let me tell you this. Being a special teams coordinator in the SEC is a lot easier than this. I mean, all you had to worry about is not getting a punt blocked, and this is unbelievable. I mean, these last 5 games that we've had have all come down to the wire. And, you know, it's a credit to our kids. We're not playing great. We're not playing bad either. You know, we're just not playing great, but we're persevering somehow, some way, and bowing up at the very end. I wish we'd bow up a little sooner.
Coach, I got a question for you. Were you surprised on both of those third downs that they threw the football and didn't run?
Yeah, I mean, they gave us a little bit more time back than we were anticipating, but you know, I'm not delving into that. You know, they coached a great game today. I mean, those kids played their, you know what's off, and so did ours, at least at the end. So we'll take it and have a good flight back to Buffalo here this evening.
Hey, Taekwon in the biggest moment, Victor in the biggest moment. I know this has been the last 5 games for you, but what does it say about those kids that they keep doing it in moments like this?
Yeah, no, I'm proud of them. They're great kids. And we worked a 2-minute drill a couple times a week, and I'm very demanding in those periods. I'm hard on our coaches. I'm hard on our players, and we're critiquing every little thing, and it's paid off. I think that's the 5th one we've scored on this year.
Coach, the last minute of all games, I mean, you've got to have your blood pressure pills ready.
Oh, my goodness. 55, and yeah, I'm supposed to be watching my red meat intake.
Coach, maybe take a load. Well, attempt to take a breath, take a load off after this one. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Okay. All right, bye.
Pete Lambeau, 4-3, 3-0. Big thanks to him. I think we got Victor Snow here, too. Victor, can you hear us?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, last play here. I mean, or last drive there. You guys have the football. Take us through that route you ran and what you saw when the ball was coming your way.
I just seen a simple corner route. You know, man to man, just winning. Just win on a corner route, make a play, and being reliable.
How were you guys able to just keep your composure throughout and know that you would get another opportunity at the end to win this football game?
We go over it every day in practice. You know, we trusted the defense to get one more stop. We go over it every day in practice, at least twice a week. And we've been there before. We know how it feels to be down, and we need a play to win.
Hey, you know, in your football life, I mean, it's been a long journey to have a moment, to have a chance to make a catch like this. What does it mean to you to have the chance, that your team gives you the chance in the biggest moment and the ball's coming your way?
There's a lot of trust, man. I'm just so thankful for my team, and I'm just so grateful to have a team that relies on me when we need plays and just give me a chance to be that guy.
Victor, congratulations. Go enjoy it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
He's got thread across his nose for a reason. Victor Snow. All right, Forrest. That's it. They call that action.
Absolutely.
Oh, man. Be thinking about this for a long, long time. Buffalo finds a way. They beat UMass in the last breaths, 28-21. Big thanks to our producer, Russ Winham, for leading us. For Bernie Caffarelli and Nathan Strauss. For Forrest Connolly up here. I'm Cooper Boardman. Good night from Amherst, Massachusetts. Buffalo wins.